office. But a new study suggests that employees are actually happiest when they're simply pretending to work from home. The study from tech and consulting giant IBM found employees felt overall more focused and content with their jobs when doing personal tasks like catching up on laundry or their favorite TV shows when they should be working.
I just make sure that I send some emails to my supervisor first thing in the morning so he thinks I'm up and working, but then I just go right back to bed.
I never have to deal with rush hour traffic or anything. I just walk across the room, sit down at my desk, and start browsing through my Twitter feed immediately.
The trend is making its way to the country's most influential tech companies like Google, where employees are encouraged to put in 12 empty hours of work a week from their homes. The study hasn't swayed every company, however. Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer said in a statement, "At Yahoo, we prefer that our employees pretend to work side by side right here in our offices."
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're over at discord.lrn.fm. You just hop into one of those, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. And with you tonight, you've got me, Ian.
Me, the captain.
And me, Mark.
So, coming up here, lots to talk about. I've had a story about Uber. They're back in the news. There's another lawsuit, once again, that's been filed against them by some upset drivers who want to be considered employees rather than contractors. And this is a situation we've been following here on the show for years. I like what Uber and Lyft have done to upend the transportation business, to challenge the taxi cab companies and bring some much-needed innovation into that space. Now, Captain Kickass, I know that you are from Seattle. Big cities like that, imagine they have quite a bit of Uber options.
Oh yeah, it's the difference between Ubering around Keene or this area of New Hampshire. And
you've done both.
Ubering, and Ubering in Seattle is a significant difference. In Seattle, you can call up an Uber and it will literally be there in a minute.
Yeah.
Here, there's oftentimes a wait of a half hour, an hour, that kind of a thing. So
yeah, I think the most I've ever seen on the app in Keene, New Hampshire, which is where we broadcast from, was two cars. I think that's all I ever saw. Because they show you where the cars are. There may be a third. I don't know. I don't know if it shows you. Does it show you the cars if there's someone in the car? Meaning, if there's a passenger, would it show you the car? Because I would think it wouldn't. I would think that it would show you only the cars that are available.
Right. That would be my guess too. But I don't know.
So if you want to comment, maybe you're an Uber driver and you have an opinion about whether or not you want to be considered a contractor or an employee, because it's back in the news after Uber has already fought against the state of California criminal gang, known as the State of California, on this particular issue. And in fact, there's even a different story that is related to this, that headline, Uber, Lyft, Postmates refuse to comply with California's gig economy law.
Nice.
So we'll get into that as well. But right now, from NBC News, a group of current and former Uber drivers are adding to the legal challenges facing the ride-hailing company with another lawsuit disputing their status as independent contractors. More than 30 current and former drivers were named as plaintiffs in a lawsuit filed last month in federal court where in California? San Francisco.
Oh, of course.
Where a judge is already hearing at least one other proposed class action suit and threatens to upend the business model of Uber and gig work companies like it. The drivers allege that under California law, they should have been considered employees and not contractors, at least since a 2018 ruling from the California Supreme Court. That ruling, since written into law by the state's legislature, laid out the criteria for determining whether a worker is an employee or a contractor.
All right. And I'm curious as to what these employees that can show up anytime they want are hanging their hats on.
Yeah, well,
right.
Yeah, and when we talked about the California...
Because it may be the very worst thing for these dudes if they become quote-unquote employees of Uber. Oh, yeah? Well,
Now you got to schedule.
your shift starts at 4 a.m.
Right.
Well, and I can't think of a ride service, right? So I'm thinking taxi cabs. I'm thinking town cars, like the classy ride to the airport type thing, limousines. I can't think of any of them in which they are really employees, with the exception of maybe like shuttle drivers for like the hotels.
I'm pretty sure the
kind of a
cab
thing.
companies have employees around here.
My well, I don't know about
the drivers.
here, but generally the drivers have to
Are renting the car, you mean?
Either lease or purchase the car through the taxi company, and then my understanding is that they are then contractors until they pay the lease off.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm judging that based on having seen some advertisements to hire drivers around here, but maybe they're averaging out the cost and they're averaging out the pay, and they're calling that you'll make $10 an hour or $11 an hour.
Right.
Maybe it's not an hourly employee thing. Maybe you're right. Maybe they are leasing those cars.
I'd be curious to hear from somebody who's done taxi cab driving. What?
Well,
what are
Mark
the
has.
particulars? Have you?
Yeah, I've driven a
didn't know
cab,
that.
but I wouldn't know whether I was a contractor or an employee.
Were you paying to lease the car?
I was getting half of the meter and then whatever tips I had. So
That could be a Well, were they telling you when to show up?
they were trying, but I would leave. I had made a different deal. So they wanted you to be on these 12-hour shifts. So start at 8 and get off at 8. And that kind of thing. And that wasn't my arrangement at all. So the dispatchers were usually pretty huffy with me because I'm like, I'm done. And on the other hand, so what? It wasn't the deal I made.
Well, and maybe it varies from state to state too, right? Maybe taxi cab operation, laws and that
sure
kind of
they
thing, are different.
So the lawsuit asks for class action status. It says the class may be more than 50,000 people who've worked for Uber since the law was signed, although the size and makeup of any class action must be determined by a judge. The drivers allege they have little of the independence that would characterize contract work. Christine Tringali says, "We live in constant uncertainty. Uber controls almost every aspect of our jobs, but doesn't care enough about our lives to give us the basic benefits most employees take for granted," she said. Well, it's because you're not an employee. Part of the deal with the contractor is you don't get any of that stuff. You're responsible for fending for yourself.
Now, you were an Uber driver at one point.
For a short period of time until local haters got me kicked out.
Right. So
I was a 5-star, by the way.
You
rated.
can speak to what it was like to do this particular job.
Yeah.
What about it was like a job versus a contractor position?
Well, having not really had a lot of official contractor positions in my life, I would say it's very different. I mean, like you pointed out, you show up when you want to show up.
I think that's a very important aspect.
That's a huge
of this,
aspect.
Is that you're not an employee if you're setting your own hours.
I'm using my own vehicle, so I'm using my own tool, right? That's what's another key difference between a contractor and an employee is the employee shows up and expects to have whatever they need to do the job provided by their employer.
Right.
The employer doesn't tell you to show up with your hammer and your, axe or whatever it is that your tools are. In this case, if you don't have a car, you don't get the contract. They're not going to work with you. They don't have a fleet. Not yet. Now, eventually, Uber is expecting to have a fleet of automated cars that will be computer-driven, and then they won't need human beings anymore.
Yeah, and then the cars won't be employees. They'll just be assets.
They're just tools, capital assets. So, it's quite different. And they incentivize, of course, the contractors by offering better pricing during busy times, for instance. So if you're in Seattle and there's some, the Seahawks, I guess, in Seattle, if there's some football game or some big convention or something like that comes to town.
The hipster convention?
Whatever it is, they know.
Espresso sipping hipster convention.
And they know, and they'll set a certain zone of extra pay, right? What do they call it? Surge pricing.
Yeah, surge pricing.
So,
you can actually create your own surge here in using Uber. So if you go on Uber and nobody's available, and then you check back on it and nobody's still available, and then you check back on it and nobody's still available, you will create your own surge. And then somebody,
just because the market's so small.
Yeah, and then somebody will eventually jump
pop
on
in.
because they get alerts through the app that say, hey, there's a surge, right? So, I did that one time on purpose.
Very cool. And it got you the ride.
It got me the ride.
You had to pay more for it, though.
I had to pay more for it.
Was
but
it a 2X surge? Did it tell you what it was? It tells you,
I don't
right?
remember. Yeah,
Because it does inform the rider. It says, hey, you're going to pay twice as much.
Well, the driver was like, "Oh, she's like, I don't know what's going on right now, but there is a surge in this area." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just need a ride."
855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number if you want to join us here. So we'll talk more about this, situation in California. Again, it's being reported that Uber and Lyft are refusing to obey, refusing to comply with the California gig economy law, and that's what is creating this lawsuit here. These people are mad. They are, the government passed a thing. You need to do the things they say. Well, Uber's argument and Lyft's argument as well, it still doesn't apply to us. Whatever the stuff they put in there doesn't apply to us. More coming up here. Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here, bring in whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're over at discord.lrn.fm. And joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
It is I, the captain.
And Mark.
By the way, Free Talk Live is brought to you by local.bitcoin.com, the newish website launched over the summertime. Of course, Bitcoin.com has been around for a long time. Great place to go to learn about cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. And, kind of get the basics or maybe get the latest news headlines from their news site. Or now you can go to local.bitcoin.com where you can buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods. And you can do it easily, globally, and private. That's what's most important about local.bitcoin.com. There are no identification requirements to sign up for the site. And communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So get started trading Bitcoin Cash, buy or sell, over there at local.bitcoin.com. I do recommend if you are going to be selling, make sure you do your due diligence so you know what the risks are of using certain electronic payment methods out there, because there are risks involved. If you're looking to lower your risk as a buyer, make sure you buy from people that have a reputation, like our very own Aria DeMezzo, who is, I believe, still the top seller on the site. She's a great choice. So head over there to local.bitcoin.com. As we continue talking about the latest lawsuit, just one of a myriad that, of course, Uber has been facing across the planet. They've been up against various different hostile governments, hostile taxi cab companies, and the taxi cab lobby, even the taxi cabbies themselves physically attacking ride-sharing drivers in the streets, running them off the road, smashing their taillights. There's just been all kinds of negativity towards these guys. And now, of course, there's a lot of lawsuit kind of action here. In this case, it's California, once again, where about 30 drivers, some of them current, some of them former, it doesn't say how many are in which category. But these people are saying we're employees. You treat us like we're employees. We're employees. And Uber is saying, no, we don't think so. The lawsuits are seeking class action status. This story from NBCnews.com. Uber didn't comment to NBC News for the story, but the company has said that it believes that it can lawfully continue with a business model in which drivers are not considered employees, despite the new California law known as AB5, and we'll talk more about that coming up here in moments. The company has said that it's offering improved benefits, such as sick leave. I'm not sure exactly how that works if your drivers are contractors. Curious to know about that. And implementing a, quote, guaranteed minimum earnings standard, unquote, while also arguing that drivers are not core to its app-based business.
It just sounds to me like 30 people are just crying. That's really what it sounds.
How could drivers not be core to their business?
I don't know. That's we don't get the actual statement from Uber here, so maybe there'll be more in the next story about that. But
the name ride sharing suggests that I'm going from one location to another,
right?
And this service is going to help me find somebody who's going my way. I've never seen that as part of the Uber thing. Now it may be, but
you mean just somebody who happens to be going the same direction?
Right. I've never seen that sort of, let's share a ride.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it, but not in the Uber capacity, right? I used to work in an office building near a freeway, and folks would wait at the bus stop, not for the bus, right, the bus stop on the freeway, but for somebody who needed to pick up the appropriate amount of passengers
for the HOV lane.
For the HOV lane, and stop and just pick them up to get across the bridge using the HOV lane. So that was ride sharing without the app.
I think that's brilliant.
Hold on. There is the Uber option where you can allow other riders to come into your ride. There is that.
Now, you mean the when you have that sort of shared ride thing?
Yeah.
What I mean is that Uber is much more like a taxi cab service than it is like a ride-sharing service.
Well, I mean, technically Uber is
They would
an
deny
app,
that.
right?
Uber would say that they are a matchmaker.
They're an app.
So
But they're not.
bringing.
That's.
But that
okay.
is essentially what they do. That's the core of their business.
I disagree with their statement that drivers are not core to their business. While cars still have drivers,
I agree with you there. Yeah.
Drivers are core to their business.
Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I would say that the terminology ride sharing is a brilliant bit of subterfuge, because if I were sharing a ride, say when I leave the studio and head home, I'm not interested in somebody who's going north when I'm going south.
Mm-hmm.
That's not ride sharing. A taxi cab, on the other hand, will take you where you want to go. So if you're going north, sure, ring, ring, let's go. The meter's down, let's go north, and I'll drop you off, because that's what I do for work and money. But if I'm a ride sharing, all I'm looking to do is share the cost of gasoline from here to there. Right. Oh, all I have to do is go slightly out of my way to drop you off in your driveway. There you go. Have a nice evening. Thanks so much for the little bit of dough, because this ride home would have cost me, I don't know, 37 cents in fuel. And with you along, I have now actually made, as $1.25, I've made almost $1 by going home. That would be ride sharing, to my definition of what ride sharing is. Now, I would say that these taxi cab drivers that work for Uber, which is a taxi cab app, are contractors working for a taxi cab app. And that when Uber tells little fibs, they look like little fibbers. And they shouldn't little fib, because that's what happens.
Well, but you don't want to use the term taxi. You don't want to use the term taxi cab. These are legal terms, and they've been defined in law. And it would be very stupid for Uber to use those terms.
Under that situation, then they would have to come up with their own term.
They're a matchmaker is what they are. They're different than a taxi cab company in that, they're still centralized. It still requires Uber as a central corporation to make sure that these matches get made. But ultimately, you have a pool of drivers who are willing to drive. And some of them are logged in, some of them aren't, right? Like Captain Kickass, sometimes people get the heads up. You were talking about that earlier, and then they come in and they serve the demand. And then there's a pool of potential riders, and all the app does is it connects one to the other, and it services the driver by providing payment methods so the driver doesn't have to have his own credit card, contract with the merchant services and
carry
all that.
Cash and all that.
Yeah. So that's all they really ultimately do. Although certainly the drivers that are upset here would like you to believe differently and would very much like Uber to be considered a taxi cab company, even though they just don't operate the way taxi cab companies traditionally have operated. Taxi cab companies have a fleet. They set, they have drivers who are very specific on at specific times and off at specific times.
Say New York City, the taxi cab company may not have a fleet. They may have owners with separate medallions, so they may not own the taxis.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So what's the benefit to the owner of joining the company then? Just to get rides? They sort of the dispatcher?
Yeah, they
basically
get rides. Yeah, sure.
So I did find the Uber press release here, since we were wondering what exactly was that Uber had to say. And this is from Tony West, Uber's chief legal officer, during a call with the media. This is after the California law, Assembly Bill 5, passed the California Senate and passed the Assembly. He says that, they got a new progressive framework that establishes for the first time ever, a guaranteed minimum earnings standard that would provide stability for drivers while allowing them the flexibility to earn more and work whenever, wherever, and for whomever they choose. So I don't know what that means. We'll see if we can find out more about this minimum earnings standard. Guaranteed minimum earnings standard. 855-450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. In my lab, I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. As a scientist, I know that balance of nature works.
Experience the balance of nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800 888-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Maybe you are a worker in the ride-sharing or gig economy. You got some opinions about the direction things are going, the direction some of these Uber drivers are trying to make things go by filing lawsuits against Uber, again out in California, which is definitely a weak point. The Californian government certainly is likely to take the side of these people who are filing the suits. They've already passed a law.
Right. It's almost as if California wants to drive more people out.
Yeah.
We're so productive. I think we just eclipsed France as most productive, or seventh most productive or something like that, on the planet. Why not just go drive some of these really successful businesses out of our state and make sure that some people who are marginally employed are even worse off?
Well, that's what it'll come down to and we've seen this happen before in Austin, for instance, where Uber and Lyft both decided they weren't going to be working in Austin after Austin passed a particularly oppressive set of rules for those companies. They said, all right, well,
I don't think California thinks they can do it to them.
Mm-hmm.
They can do it to Austin, but they can't do it to us.
I don't know. They've got 75 million riders.
In the United States or global?
Globally, yeah. 3 million drivers and 75 million riders.
Can they afford to lose California?
I don't see why not.
LibertyCon is a unique Liberty convention happening in April. It's the 3rd through the 5th, so go ahead and mark your calendar for that. It's happening in D.C., and if you want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, this is going to be the place to do it because there's a bunch of people that will be attending this, not just organization-wise, but speakers. There's going to be some great speakers like John Mackey, the Whole Foods CEO and co-founder, Vernon Smith, who's a winner of the Nobel Prize in Economics, Miriam Issa, pop culture expert with over 300 million YouTube views, and Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who happens to be the author of The Black Swan. You can learn more about the event by going to libertycon.com. That's libertycon.com, and you can use code FTL to save $10 on your registration. Shockingly affordable event, by the way. It's I think it's $99 for the regular ticket price, and so you knock $10 off of that by using code FTL. And if you're a student, you get half-price tickets if you're a student, which is pretty sweet. Plus, they've got travel scholarships available for students, which means if you can't afford to get there, they're going to help you with that. So once again, libertycon.com. Discount rooms are there at the Marriott Marquis. And you can, again, save $10 with code FTL. It's April 3rd through the 5th, and Free Talk Live will be broadcasting from the event. So I'm looking here at this Uber press release about the California law. Now, this came out in September of 2019. And they say that they're establishing for the first time ever a guaranteed minimum earnings standard that they say would provide stability for drivers while allowing them the flexibility to earn more and work whenever, wherever, and for whomever they choose. I still don't know what they're talking about. I did search for guaranteed minimum earnings standard, put quotes around it, right, on Google to see, all right, well, Uber, what, where is this explained? Is there some sort of, page on their website that explains what it means to have a guaranteed minimum earnings standard? And I have yet to been able to find it. If you want to weigh in, though, if you're working for Uber, maybe they've sent you like a memo or something like that that explains what this is. Is it where they say, well, if you're logged into the app in a city like Seattle for 3 hours, we guarantee you'll get this many rides or something like that? I just don't even know what that could mean because they can't really easily guarantee a certain number of rides because one of the difficulties that Uber drivers face in a marketplace where there's a ton of Uber drivers is if there's too many drivers and not enough riders, then you're not going to get as many rides, because they hand out the rides to the drivers based on proximity. So whoever is the closest driver gets the call to whoever that is. The only way you won't get the call is if your rating is in the tank.
Right.
So if you're not doing well on ratings, they might. So like if I'm a 5-star driver and you're a 4-star driver, Captain, maybe they'll give me
the ride.
You
got the one more star.
Even if I'm a little further away,
right.
Because I know that if you hit like 3.5 stars, they knock you off the system.
Right.
Like you can't go below a certain rating and keep driving.
Jeez.
Right. It's like that episode of Black Mirror, right? Your
I haven't seen
rating's
it.
not high enough. Oh, dude.
I've heard it's a really good show, though.
Yeah.
What if somebody just gives you a 1 star,
Well, sorry. That's not going to be good for you.
It's not going to be good.
So, I mean, if you've got enough rides under your belt, 1 star isn't going to take
if you
you
only
down.
got
But if
5?
it's your first week, then
Sometimes you just meet a-holes in life.
Right.
So out of the, millions of drivers that Uber has, connected to their app, these 30 people somehow have I don't understand the problem they have that they're trying to fix.
They want benefits. That's what these 30 people who are suing Uber.
Go get a job if you don't understand.
But that's it. They want a gig where they can set their hours and get benefits.
Starbucks will give you benefits with 20 hours a week.
I mean, if you don't understand how the app works, then get the heck off the app. But there's no reason to involve the government in, your quibble about what you want.
Oh, but there is a reason because the government is a criminal gang that will use violence. And they can get their way if they get the government on their side.
Well, right. I mean, we know, the what is the old adage, the gun in the room, right?
Exactly.
And so now, somebody else is pointing the gun at other people to try and get their way, right? But the app isn't broken. Nothing is broken. They signed up to be an Uber driver. They agreed to the terms and conditions when they signed up.
That's the most offensive part about it is you agreed to this.
Yeah.
You came in, you asked, hey, I want to be part of this thing. Okay, here's our terms. All right, that sounds good. Probably didn't read them, but they went ahead and signed them.
Well, they had an idea what the terms were when they signed up and got paid the first gig and all that stuff. Nobody signs up for Uber thinking, well, I'm going to get benefits. I'm going to get paid hourly.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up whenever I want.
Yeah, I wasn't going to Uber, but I decided I wanted the guaranteed minimum income and the benefits that it supplies.
Yeah.
I wanted to be first considered as one of the people that's going to be able to go fly to Mars. Like I said, this has nothing to do with it.
Ronald Zambrano.
I want to make sure everybody knows that Harambe didn't kill himself.
Ronald Zambrano, who's one of the attorneys who filed the suit, said these drivers have devoted their efforts to making Uber the powerhouse it is today. If Uber won't treat its drivers the way they deserve,
these 30 drivers in particular,
then well, there's another one too. There's 2 suits now in California.
This is 60 drivers then.
Then the court needs to step in and enforce the law, he says. The outcome of the litigation could have far-reaching consequences as other states, including New York, are considering whether to take up legislation similar to the new law in California. And New York City and New York have not been friendly to Uber either, putting in, I think it's like certain minimum charges or something like that. I know, Captain Kickass, there's news out of Seattle that they're raising the minimum tax. There's like a per-ride tax in Seattle on Uber that they're like doubling or something like that. So it is just not easy for these guys to do this business. But thankfully, they're not just bending over. That's one of the things that I do like about them, is that they will fight. And that's probably one of the reasons why they're not a profitable company, is because they've just poured, I don't know how many millions of dollars into attorneys.
Right, yeah.
According to the story at NPR, they are now refusing to comply. And there's a new law that has gone into effect that is supposed to make it harder for companies to hire workers as contractors, but gig companies like Uber, Lyft, and food delivery platform Postmates are refusing to reclassify their fleet of drivers as employees. Supporters of Assembly Bill 5 say companies have been exploiting contract workers for years because they aren't considered employees who get benefits like health coverage and workers' compensation.
Yeah, so just, real quick, the difference between the contractor and the employee is, where does the responsibility fall, right? If you're a contractor and you take on a job as a contractor, you have more responsibility, right? You don't file your own taxes, you know, all that kind of thing, and take that on. As an employee, you are getting absolved of responsibility, and I'm real tired of folks pointing the gun of government at other folks to be less responsible.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, these stories, and we'll continue here because now this story is about how they're refusing to comply with the law. Well, Uber and Lyft, they're saying it doesn't apply to us. It's not like, we're refusing to comply with it. It's just our interpretation of what you've written is that we still don't, fall under the jurisdiction. We're coming up.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Have you ever watched a video on the internet and found yourself waiting for the skip the ad button? The reason this takes a few seconds is because the video delivery companies get to collect impression commission, and the viewer never sees the advertisement. The company still pays full price to run the ad. Does this sound like a scam to you? Is there any wonder why internet ads are so ineffective? For over 100 years, radio has been a proven source for companies' messages. Radio listeners are engaged and want to support the companies that sponsor the shows they're so passionate about. Simple companies like window treatments, security, pillow companies, and more have been able to break away from the big box stores, building multi-million-dollar businesses. Find out what radio can do for your business. Call 877-996-4327 or advertise at gcnlive.com. That's advertise at gcnlive.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
For those hoping to get ahead of the work week, look no further than Overtime Plus, a new app that lets you work for your company even while you sleep. The app keeps you trapped in a constant half-awake, half-dream state where your thoughts are never far from the drudgeries of the work week. By simply laying your phone on your mattress, the app's accelerometers are able to measure your movements throughout the night, so it knows when you're close to falling into a deep sleep and losing focus of the crushing work demands ahead of you. When restful sleep is detected, the app dips into your personalized work tasks to generate a subliminal signal, like the date of an important deadline or keywords from the most damning portion of your last job review, to jostle you back into a state of productive, semi-awake agitation.
I was close to falling asleep last night, then my app started whispering my boss's name over and over again until I was awake and answering work emails at 3 in the morning.
Last night it made me dream that I was locked in the office until I could find the most optimal way to catalog the company's new server. I still haven't figured it out.
The app doesn't just keep you mentally shackled to your day job, but also serves as an alarm clock by repeatedly shouting you're late for work until you're jolted out of bed in a panic each morning.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Here with you tonight, it's Ian.
The artist currently known as Captain Kickass.
And Mark.
All right, so it looks like Mortified Penguin, who is, I believe, a either former or current Uber driver or Lyft and Uber, he says the rules are region-specific to Uber, age of car, minimum ratings, etc. I guess what he's talking about is what it takes to be on the road for Uber there. So I guess what I really want to know is, what are they saying to the drivers? Maybe you're not finding out because he's in Virginia, so they may have only sent out what this guaranteed minimum standard earning standard or whatever is. Maybe that only went out to the California drivers and they didn't send that out nationwide. But we're looking at not only the lawsuits that Uber has been facing, but this new law in California, Assembly Bill 5, that just went into effect. According to NPR, it went into effect last week, so Wednesday. And they say that it's supposed to make it harder for companies to hire workers as contractors. But Uber and Lyft and other companies like Postmates are refusing to reclassify their drivers as employees. Supporters of the bill say the companies have been exploiting contracted workers, which, hey, it's not exploitation if they put an agreement in front of you and you voluntarily choose to sign it.
Right?
Now,
well, it is if you're a lawyer.
Sure. Well, this is it's about the public, viewpoint, right? They want to manipulate public opinion on this. So using words like exploiting,
it's more important.
Really makes it sound bad. Now, look, like I said, I don't defend Uber on all their practices. I'm certainly not happy with how they treated me personally, but even if that hadn't happened, I'd still have my critiques of them.
Right.
One of the things they did right when it wasn't long after I started was they cut the rate from 80% to 75%. So it used to be that you got 80% of the fare as the driver. 20% went to Uber to pay for their lawyers, and and 80% went to the driver. Well, that changed to 75%. Now, that may have dropped since then. It may be 70 now. I don't know what it is. But now you could argue that, well, that's not what I contracted for. Okay, walk away.
Right, yeah.
If they change the rules on you, which they have the right to do based on their terms of service, right? All corporate terms of service are the same. They all have that paragraph that says that we can modify our terms of service any old time we want. We just have to give you notice. And some of them, they even say we don't even have to give you notice.
Yep.
Anybody who hires contractors can cut the rate they're giving contractors.
Right. At the end of the contract.
Well,
or if it's in the middle of the contract, if they have the right to do that.
Right. If they tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. Newspaper delivery was at least where I grew up, largely contractor based.
Sure.
Right.
I think that's true here too.
Relay delivery is right. I'm not talking about the kid doing his paper route. I'm talking about getting thousands of newspapers between cities and delivered to the grocery
big
stores
time.
and that kind of stuff. But that's all. I mean, some folks would form their own company and then they'd be an independent company that contracts to the newspaper company to deliver said periodicals to whatever destinations are. That's fine. And I'm actually. I wonder what's preventing that from happening on the Uber. If you're a contractor, could you start your own, Ian's transportation business and then contract through Uber to do ride delivery as a business rather than an individual?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not as a business, but you could probably try to start your own transportation service and then allow your drivers to do that. I don't know how you would get money out of them.
I don't know.
It'd be tough. And again, as you pointed out, Uber has so many drivers. They don't have a problem with supplying drivers in most places.
Yeah.
So
the app is definitely not broken.
Yeah.
It's working quite well.
So whether they would want to bother trying to negotiate with some business to provide them with more drivers, I'm sure their perspectives would be like, yeah, we got plenty of drivers. We don't need you.
Yeah. And that's the fundamental difference, at least to me, or the freedom that you get with being a contractor is that you can walk away.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not like they're going to change your rate during the ride, okay? They're going to give you notice, and they're going to say, all right, well, it was 80%. It's going down to 75% at the end of this month. So if you want to keep riding with us, then you're agreeing to those new terms. Otherwise, have a nice day. Thanks for your service.
The last time you log out of Uber can be the last time you log out of Uber.
Right.
You don't have to go back the next time.
They might tempt you back with, surge pricing or something like that, but that's your choice.
Dear 30 people of this lawsuit, there are multiple methods for getting things done. Right? Not everything has to be done the same way, right? So, you can earn money by starting a business. You can earn money by
go start your own taxi company.
You can earn money by being an employee. These are all options for you, depending on what's best for you and your circumstances. You don't like the way a certain organization is handling how that's done, go find an organization that lives up to your standards or that, gives you the things you want.
But that's the way we think about these things. Like, hey, you don't like it? Get out there and compete. Get out there and create a better thing. But these people are they just want to sue, and force companies to behave in the way they want to.
And Sell411.com did go out and create a better thing. There's a better rideshare app out there. It's just that for whatever reason, Uber's got the lion's share and Lyft has the next bit. And
well, here's the reason. Uber and Lyft had a huge venture capital laid into them. And they, were first to market.
Right.
So
Toyota gave Uber like $500 million.
Did they really?
Yeah.
And so
invested.
Well, right. And what Uber did very wisely, and I think Lyft did something similar, was they would give you your first ride free, just like a drug dealer. First hit's free. They gave you the first ride free.
Just take a hit, just one time.
As long as it's beneath like $20
Where
bucks.
Where are these drug dealers
to
to give away free drugs?
That's what they said back in the day.
I know that's what they told us.
It's a good, plan, right? You want to get your customers acclimated to your product, your service in this particular case, give them a good experience, and I had a good experience the first time I was an Uber rider. I imagine you did too, Mark. I think we probably took it together in like Austin or something like that.
Yeah.
At one point, it was like, this car's clean.
In the big
It's
city,
nice.
I loved Uber, man.
Yeah.
It was great. Man.
That's pretty much all we do now, with the exception of at certain airports where
you have to get
you kind of like have to take a taxi, or they make it like super difficult to get an Uber.
It just costs less.
Yeah,
that's the reason I
sometimes. Wait, Uber costs less or taxis?
Yeah, Uber costs less.
So
I would do taxis if I thought I was going to get that level of service. At price and responsiveness, if I thought it was anywhere there.
Yeah.
The last time I called a taxi, on my own without being at an airport with you, I had to sit out in the cold for 45 minutes. I called back. I'm waiting, and like, oh, you were serious?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, they never came and got me.
Yeah, the only time I'll take a taxi at an airport is if they're there right then and Ubers are not around.
Right.
If like there's a taxi guy waiting for you, all right, fine. I got to get to the hotel or whatever.
The average Uber driver earns $364 a month.
Well, okay, average, right? So, but what about the median?
So there's a bunch of people who are doing part-time, right? So this isn't full-time,
right. I mean, if I feel like working one Saturday a month, then I'm pulled into the average.
How many hours? That's really the question of the $300 and something dollars, and into how many hours are they making that? Supporters of this bill, again, are accusing the ride-sharing companies of exploiting their workers. The law touches many industries, from trucking to tech to certain medical professions. AB 5 does include certain carve-outs for professions such as dentists and attorneys. Interestingly, surprise, the gig attorneys have decided they need a carve-out to be exempt from this bill. Democratic Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez says misclassification is a problem throughout the economy, but she zeroed in on gig companies during last year's legislative session. Quote, the same week that workers had to go on strike because their per mileage fee was being cut, an investor was celebrating his $30,000 investment that became $120 million in one day, she said during a debate on the Assembly floor shortly after Lyft went public, saying further, something is wrong with the way that we've allowed these companies to operate, unquote.
Okay, so the investor who made a bunch of money is investing based on price of the stock. That doesn't have anything to do with how things are doing. Maybe the stock's overvalued. I have no clue. Is she going to be out there advocating for a wage cut for the workers when the price of this stock
tumbles?
Cuts in half.
The legislation codifies a ruling from the California Supreme Court that established a new test for classifying workers. So for a long time, there's been like a national standard, and you can look it up. Like there's a certain, I don't remember what the test is called, but there's like a standard test of, okay, does the person set their own hours? Yes. Okay, that person's likely a contractor. Is the person using their own tools? Yes. Okay, that person's likely a contractor. And then, there's other things as well. There's like a few different points. I don't have them all in my head, but there's a new test in California. Gonzalez says she hopes city attorneys and the state attorney general will hold gig companies responsible if they do not comply with the law. Uber and Lyft declined the interview, but they and other gig companies have developed a multi-pronged strategy to avoid complying with the new law, and so we'll talk about that. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. You can bring up what you want. Plus, we get the chance. The Selective Service is back in the news and potential for a draft. This is Free Talk Live. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, You are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,552, silver at $18.06, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,545. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, Iraq's parliament voted in an extraordinary session Sunday to expel all American troops from the country and file a United Nations complaint against the U.S. for violating Iraq's sovereignty with his assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. Ahead of the vote, chants of "No, No America" rang out inside the hall. As the National reported, the Iraqi parliament approved a 5-point action plan that would require the Iraqi government to end the presence of foreign troops in the country and withdraw its request for assistance from the anti-ISIS global coalition. Parliament also called on the government to ban the use of Iraqi airspace by any foreign power, according to the National. The U.S. currently has around 5,000 troops stationed in Iraq. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. 60 Minutes has revealed several new data points in the death of wealthy pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which raise more questions than they answer, and suggest that the financier did not kill himself, an opinion the New York City Medical Examiner's Office stands firmly behind. While we've heard all sorts of theories about the improbabilities of the force required by the nearly 6-foot-tall Epstein to successfully hang himself while breaking an unusual 3 bones in his neck, usually seen in strangulations, that's nowhere near the most peculiar part of Epstein's demise. The Mind Unleashed reports that for the first time, we gained a look at the noose Epstein used to allegedly kill himself. Photos admitted as evidence reveal a clean cloth with no blood, despite Epstein's clearly bloody neck. Moreover, both ends of the noose were hemmed, not cut, while the guard who found Epstein reportedly cut him down. Also odd is that Epstein's ligature wound, allegedly left by said bloodless noose, is fairly low on his neck. Opposition to 5G is worldwide. Activists post reports that multiple lawsuits have already been filed about it in the U.S. Doctors, scientists, engineers, and public advocates have asked President Trump for a moratorium on 5G. Expert warnings include more than biological and environmental risks. People and animals have been getting sick where 5G is turned on. Telecom companies have admitted they have no scientific evidence that 5G is safe. Regardless, the Federal Communications Commission continues to promote and force installation. That's why tens of thousands of small cells have already been installed by T-Mobile and other telecoms, and hundreds of thousands more are predicted to be installed. More details can be found in the Fierce Wireless article, What AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile don't want you to know about their 5G deployments. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
So, you're trying to get pregnant and nothing is working. Give it another shot. Because the key to getting pregnant is let people know you're trying, often and with great detail. By constantly announcing to your friends, family, and casual acquaintances that you're trying to conceive, you dramatically increase the chances of your partner putting a brand new bun in your oven. When I was trying for Lincoln, I made it a daily goal to bring up which position Hunter and I were experimenting with in every conversation I had. I told literally anyone I could, from teachers to babysitters to telemarketers, that I stand on my head after Hunter finishes inside me. And sharing that information really helped me conceive. Plus, people like hearing about it. There's nothing to be ashamed of or hide. What your husband's unprotected penis feels like as he thrusts. How you'll whisper possible baby names in his ear as he ejaculates. These are perfectly natural things to bring up at an office party or to announce at the beginning of a flight.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian. Oh, sorry, Captain. Try that again.
The Reverend Captain Kickass.
And Mark.
And coming up, Captain Kickass, since we're talking about driving-related stuff here tonight, you've got a story about the Chevy Volt, which is an electronic car that is apparently subject to being hacked. And we'll talk about that coming up here. We'll get into it. But we've been talking about Uber and Lyft, Postmates, which apparently delivers food. These various different driving-related gig economy companies that are under attack big time out in California. Multiple lawsuits having been brought against them by a bunch of whiny drivers who, are a very small minority, right? Like these are the loudmouth minority. Most of these drivers are going out there, they're working, they're getting paid, they're taking people around, and they're obviously happy with it because they keep doing it. But then there's a few dozen who've said, well, we want to be getting benefits. We want to be able to log into the app whenever we feel like it and also get bennies.
Everybody wants more things for what they do. The guy, the plumber who comes to your house and says that he's going to work at $60 an hour, he would like to get $160 an hour.
Sure.
It's just the market won't bear it.
There's competition out there.
And, it's quite possible. Just speculation, wild conspiracy theory. Quite possible these aren't even really drivers. They're just labor activists that went and got a job. Anybody can do it.
Or just downloaded the app, right?
Well, they downloaded the app and maybe they went on a few rides.
That way they had standing to sue.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's no way to tell.
Well, it's either that or it could be that, this is the less educated segment of the Uber driving population.
Well,
or
people who are economically illiterate are not hard to find.
Right. And so or inexperienced, right? They've never had a contracting job. Maybe they previously had, a job where there was a minimum wage or, an hourly rate and that kind of thing. And now they're trying Uber to see what it's like. And
most people I know on
different.
Uber are making above minimum wage.
Yeah.
So
the people who I've known, who we've talked on the air with, they're happy. They're happy with what they're making, even after they factor in car repairs and the things that you can't really easily, consider when you first start
Insurance
the job.
Would be what would disturb me.
Well, they give you some level of insurance, I think, through the app, basically. As long as you have a fare, you're covered by their insurance.
Okay.
But if you're just driving on your own, even though you're logged in, if you get in an accident before you pick up somebody, that won't cover.
Okay. Although, interestingly enough, when I got a car after relocating to Keene here in New Hampshire, I got insurance on it, right? Because I know you don't have to here in New Hampshire.
That's correct.
There's not a
it's always a
law
good idea.
But it's my car. I'm going to insure it, right? But they did ask, like, are you going to be doing any Uber or Lyft type of activities? When I got insurance.
Right. Yeah, they don't. They do charge you more for that, don't they?
Yeah, I think there's a fee if you're, an additional pay up or buy up if you're going to be Ubering.
Right, because if they find out that you were Ubering when the accident happened, they may not cover you.
Right. I'm assuming something happened at some point.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah. Guaranteed. So here's more of the story again. How Uber, Lyft, Postmates, these other companies are not going along with this new law. California passes a new law, says, all right, well, we are going to apply these new set of standards to determine what is a contractor and what is an employee. And Uber and Lyft are basically saying, all right, well, we don't think that we qualify.
Yeah, so what are this? This is the list now? Okay.
They're going to get into it here. Companies are negotiating with lawmakers first up to create and negotiating with labor unions to create an alternate class of worker, basically a contractor with added benefits. Earlier this week, Uber and Postmates filed a lawsuit in federal court challenging California's new law. Then there's a nuclear option.
California's really never liked this federal government arrangement anyway. How come we have to follow all this stuff?
Well, they should leave. They should secede.
They should be able to.
So should we. Then there's the nuclear option. Gig companies have sunk more than $100 million into a ballot measure to exempt them from the requirement that they're hoping to put before voters this November. Drivers on all sides of the debate have weighed in. A group called Gig Workers Rising has mobilized drivers to demand better wages and the opportunity to collectively bargain. This group lobbied the lawmakers to pass AB 5, but others say they fear losing the flexibility that comes with setting their own hours as a contractor. Alfonso Martinez says, quote, with this job, I have the freedom to work when I have time.
Right.
He drives for Uber in the Sacramento area, says it allows him to balance the demands of being a father to school-aged children who have special needs. Industries such as trucking, journalism, and those involved in the gig economy are pushing back by filing suit in federal court. But some companies
also people who have a difficult time getting employment for whatever reason can do quite well with Uber and Lyft driving. I mean, they just care how well you drive and how well you treat the customers and how your rating comes back. But there's people, immigrants, for instance, lots of immigrants driving for Uber and Lyft. I don't know what all their arrangements are, but they're making money.
Uber, according to I'll get back to Uber's press release because I think they're going to get into it there. This is more focusing on what the drivers are saying, but some companies are scrambling to figure out how to comply. In December, sports website SB Nation announced it would terminate contracts with hundreds of freelancers in light of California's new labor law. Sorry, guys. You're fired.
Wow.
Bradley Geiser and Will Griffith are a couple of those freelance writers. They've contributed interviews, commentary, and reporting to the Sacramento Kings blog, Sacktown Royalty, for the last 5 years. Geiser says writing for the blog isn't just about making money on the side. He says it's also allowed him to raise his profile as a sports writer. He said, I don't think I would be where I am trying to be a writer today without the opportunity they gave me. Vox Media, which owns SB Nation, did not respond to a request for comment. The company says it plans to replace freelancers with a staff of full-time employees, but just how many remains unknown. The new law does provide a specific carve-out for freelancers. They can contribute up to 35 submissions per year to a single outlet and still be considered contractors. But a lawsuit filed in federal court by journalism and photography associations argues the law violates the First Amendment. While the two Sacramento area writers aren't involved in the suit, Griffith says he supports it. Quote, if you can't hold Uber and Lyft's feet to the flames and the laws affecting people that it really wasn't supposed to affect, then something needs to be changed. And quick, he says. So sounds like companies that don't have the money to hire armies of attorneys are just, running scared from this law.
Yeah, sure.
While Uber and Lyft, on the other hand, are doubling down.
And I'm just thinking, what other industries is this going to affect, right? I know a majority of, hair and nail salons, those are contracts, right? So
I don't know.
Really?
So you're a contractor, you rent the seat from the salon
Right.
owner or whatever, that kind of thing. So you are a contractor in that way. And there's a whole bunch of other types of contracting work that, sounds like are going to also get pulled into this from what we've learned thus far.
Well, it's important to take Uber and Lyft down and, anything new and productive.
Contrary to some of the rhetoric, this is Uber's press release about AB 5, which is the law that they're challenging out there. AB 5 does not automatically reclassify any rideshare drivers from independent contractors to employees. It does not provide drivers with benefits, nor does it give drivers the right to organize. In fact, the bill currently says nothing about rideshare drivers. What AB 5 does do is fairly straightforward. It inserts in the California Labor Code a new legal test that must be used when determining whether a worker is classified as an independent contractor or employee. And that legal test is already the law of the state since California's Supreme Court handed down its decision in Dynamex over a year ago. That legal test, called the ABC test, certainly sets a higher bar for companies to demonstrate that independent workers are indeed independent. Under that three-part test, arguably the highest bar is that a company must prove that contractors are doing work, quote, outside the usual course, unquote, of its business. But just because the test is hard doesn't mean that we won't be able to pass it. In fact, several previous rulings have found that drivers' work is outside the usual course of Uber's business, which is serving as a technology platform for several different types of digital marketplaces. Meaning, like, they're driving food, right?
Yeah,
They've got
Uber
Uber
Eats,
Eats.
right.
They're driving people around. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. A little bit more from their head attorney. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. Maybe you work in the ride-sharing economy and you want to comment on these drivers that are suing these ride-sharing companies out in California. Of course, you can bring up whatever's on your mind, or maybe you're an angry taxi cabbie. We'd love to hear from you. This is Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting LibertyCon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's LibertyCon.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org. I can definitely...
Phone records, financial and location data, Prism, Tempora, Xkeyscore, Boundless Informant. Hey y'all, Scott Horton here for offnow.org. Now here's the deal. Due to the Snowden revelations, we have a great opportunity for a short period of time to get some real rollback of the national surveillance state. Now they're already trying to tire us by introducing fake reforms in the Congress. And the courts, they betrayed their sworn oaths to the Constitution and Bill of Rights again and again, and can in no way be trusted to stop the abuses for us. We've got to do it ourselves. How? We nullify it at the state level. It's still not easy, but the Off Now project of the 10th Amendment Center has gotten off to a great start. I mean it. There's real reason to be optimistic here. They've gotten their model legislation introduced all over the place, in state after state. I've lost count, more than a dozen. You're always wondering, yeah, but what can we do? Here's something important, something that can work if we do the work. Get started cutting off the NSA support in your state. Go to offnow.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We are talking about the latest lawsuit against ride-sharing companies like Uber and Lyft. Some drivers out in California once again claiming that they believe they should be considered employees. Why? Well, because they don't like having to be able to set their own hours and not get benefits. Essentially, that's what it really all boils down to. They want to be able to tell these companies how they should do their business, even though they've already agreed to the terms of service and their driver agreement or, whatever paperwork.
It's such a helpless mentality, though.
It's pathetic.
Like, I don't. Okay,
get a job.
Go find that situation. If you don't like the situation that you're in, guess what? You're empowered. You have the ability to think for yourself and change your situation.
It's really not that hard to find a job, for best I can tell. I mean, unemployment is the lowest in America as it's been in a very long time. I've heard ever, but whatever. Getting a job isn't that difficult if you want set hours. Where somebody tells
benefits,
you when to show up.
You want, insurance, all that kind of stuff.
It's out there.
But how can they get a job where
they
don't have
want
to show up?
Bring down Uber. Yeah. They were successful, and it's a big company, and corporations are ruining the world and stuff.
So a little bit more here, and then we will change gears and get into the Chevy Volt being hacked. Captain Kickass has that story. But a little bit more here. This is actually Uber's press release. So we've read the news pieces here, which, of course, interview the attorneys and the drivers. And, we've heard a lot of whining so far. And I want to preface this discussion that I don't support everything Uber does. I'm a critic of some of their business practices. But one thing I do support is that a company should be able to contract with their workers in whatever way they want to contract.
Yeah.
Okay? And I don't even care if... because there's all these tests about whether or not you're an employee or whether you're a contractor. I don't care if you are doing something that is within the bailiwick of that company. Meaning, Uber's arguing, oh, well, we're not a driver's company. We're just a technology company. So therefore, we're not, the drivers aren't, they're contractors because we don't have drivers, that kind of thing. I don't care. I think that if you are a company and you want to have contractors instead of employees and you make it clear to them, hey, you're a contractor, you're not an employee, and they sign that agreement, then that should be the end of it. But that's where these government goons come in and they, just ruin
They just don't like
things.
it when people make their own agreements with each other.
Right. So this is about AB 5, which is the House bill out in California that ultimately passed that attempts to put even more constrictions and a more difficult test on determining whether or not a person is an employee, meaning it's more slanted towards the person being an employee than being a contractor. Essentially, they would like to outlaw contract work in California, but they probably don't think they can get away with that at a nationwide level. But they say here that AB 5 actually limits the Supreme Court ruling. Due to 11th hour amendments to the bill, many industries are now exempt from this new ABC test that AB 5 is codifying into state law. Governor Newsom has already committed to sign this bill, which would go in effect in January. It did last week, as we learned, because we continue to believe drivers are properly classified as independent, and because we'll continue to be responsive to what the vast majority of drivers tell us they want. That is, what they want most, he says, is flexibility. Drivers will not be automatically reclassified as employees even after January of next year. So they're just basically saying, look, we're doing what our drivers want. Okay, yeah, there's 30 people over here filing a lawsuit, but here's 300,000 of them who are totally fine with what we're doing.
Right.
300,
we know they're totally fine because they're continuing to go to work. Yeah. I mean, nobody's going to work under any circumstances making as much as they'd love to make.
Right.
That just doesn't happen. That's not the way pricing works, ladies and gentlemen. And what your paycheck is just pricing for your labor. I mean, pricing means that the person selling gets less than they would like to get, and the person buying pays more than they'd like to pay.
I'm sorry, 200,000 according to the press release, but that's still a lot of people. He says today the drivers have control over when, where, and how they work. They can choose to work for any of our competitors at the same time, and many do. And that's true. Around here,
true.
You see it. You see it there, too. Lyft and Uber stickers on these cars.
And if you start getting into classifying these folks as employees, then you've got non-compete clauses and all that kind of stuff.
That's a great point. Is that what these people who are filing the lawsuit really want?
Those people that are filing the lawsuit, in all likelihood, when you're talking 30 people out of 200,000, are likely just plants.
I think you're right about that. I had not considered that before, but when you brought that up tonight, that these are just labor activists who went and got a gig, that way they could file a lawsuit, I think you're dead on. I think that's the best explanation.
Either that or they're just morons.
Labor has...
but they found morons who found an attorney in this case.
Labor's had a lot of recent wins and successes, and they're trying to make a comeback. And the press is out there that the nation's better off because labor from the 50s and 60s, and I don't know. I mean, I've heard
by labor you mean unions.
Yeah, union. Yeah. I've heard arguments for and against. I don't know the answer. But in this circumstance, I can tell you that this doesn't make a lot of sense. So I get unions for pipe fitters who are working on nuclear power plants. I can see that. But I don't really get a labor union for people who are driving cars, which is what all of us do all the time. I mean, it's not a skill.
The union organizers certainly would like to be a union because they get paid to just sit around and organize.
Yeah, sure.
Or whatever.
Well, they're basically management. They're basically management of a management company.
In the U.S., 92% of drivers drive less than 40 hours per week. Again, talking about Uber here. And 45% of their drivers drive less than 10 hours per week. So almost half. We're only, minimal part-time on this. He says this would change dramatically if they were employees. We will continue to defend the innovation that makes that kind of choice, flexibility, and independence a reality for over 200,000 drivers in California. He says, lastly, a few words about our plans going forward. We will continue advocating for a compromise agreement, and we are encouraged by the governor's comments as well as the Wall Street Journal that he's fully committed to negotiating a solution. But we're still pursuing several legal and political options, including working with Lyft, that's their competition, and other internet platform companies to lay the groundwork for a statewide ballot initiative in 2020. Uber and Lyft together have already transferred $60 million into a campaign committee account, and we're open to investing more to put us in the strongest position possible to run a winning campaign. And that's going to be tough, because it's California, where people are not exactly free market minded in general. So it could be a mistake to try to open this thing up to a vote, because that may indicate that the people of California have disagreed with Uber and Lyft. The people of California have given them a spanking and sent them home. I don't know how it's going to play out or if they can even qualify for the ballot, but looks like they feel that that's a good way to go with $60 million into this campaign coffers.
I wouldn't trust the voters of California, or frankly, the voters of any place.
Anywhere.
Because when you start asking people's opinion that don't have a stake in something, you start getting some really crappy opinions.
Oh, yeah.
I think all the dogs should get a dog treat and a hug right now. Well, get out there and buy a bunch of dog treats and start hugging the dog. Well, that's a lot of work. Well, then shut up.
All right, the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, can your car be hacked? Apparently, the Chevy Volt is particularly susceptible.
And it's spying on you.
We'll tell you about it coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas.
I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms. They're over at discord.lrn.fm, and you can call those, and you'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. Tonight, it's Ian here.
The captain.
And Mark.
Let's go to the phones and to your calls and thoughts. Coming up, though, Captain Kickass, you'll be telling us about the hack of the Chevy Volt, which I believe is their electric-only car. We will get into that, but first, since we've been kind of talking about transportation tonight, we'll go first, though, to Ralph in Maine. Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about a surgical procedure that we all kind of like take for granted.
Okay.
Male mutilation of genitals, circumcision.
Yep.
Like, what's with that? I mean, why are we doing that?
Well, it's probably the most prescribed for the most problems of any procedure out there. I mean, you'd think this was a cure-all for everything, the way that throughout the years all the virtues of circumcision have been extolled. And frankly, it doesn't have much value. At this point, it's basically good for two things. If your child grows up to be a hobo and doesn't wash himself, it can prevent some sorts of infections in that that situation.
Okay.
So, anti-hobo surgery. I don't think any of us have a child with the hopes or expectations they will grow up to be a hobo. The other aspect, it's aesthetic. People are used to seeing that, so they're afraid that for whatever reason their kid won't fit in the locker room, in the locker room or something.
How come I don't look like daddy and that kind of thing, right?
Right.
I don't know if that answers the question, though. I think you asked why, Ralph. And if I recall correctly, there was a push by certain anti-self-pleasuring Christian do-gooders, particularly men named Kellogg and Graham.
Correct.
The
Graham
very
crackers,
same.
Kellogg cereal.
Yeah, those people who were really not a fun couple of guys, apparently, and they believed that young males should be prevented and older males and every male should not be pleasuring themselves, and they believed that this removing of however many hundreds of thousands or millions of nerve endings. I don't know how many they got in there, but there's a lot, right? Like you're literally removing nerve endings from one of the most sensitive regions of a man's body. That they thought, we're just going to get rid of all these nerve endings.
It was going to stop masturbation.
And men will stop touching themselves.
Yeah. Hey, this caller nails it, though. I mean, it's baby mutilation. That's
absolutely what it is.
Absolutely what it is.
Right. I wouldn't put it on the scale of what goes on in places in Africa.
You mean female genital
mutilation? But every part of saying that male genital mutilation is accurate.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention, it's a big moneymaker for the medical establishment.
Is it really?
Set up by Rockefeller. Yeah, it's about $600 plus, and around the late 18th century, that when these doctors recommended as a cure for masturbation, the Queen even knighted her top doctor for recommending it. Meanwhile, the Rockefeller medical field, like herbs, homeopathy, all the other modalities of healing were pushed aside in favor of what we call now allopathic medicine, which is drugs and surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, it's a moneymaker. You know what? If that has been discounted about the masturbation thing, why are we just like giving our children to this horrible practice of just
I agree,
mutilating them when they're born? I mean, what pain? What does that cause psychologically?
Yeah,
and
the first thing
I know
is
there's some international outfits, the Council of Violence Against Children, who are against it. The German Academy for Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine.
Yeah, there's other
Royal
organizations
Dutch
too
Association.
that are called
really, it belongs
Intactivists.
back in the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where it originated. And
I don't think
we gotta start standing up for our young boys. And
I don't think we have to go so far as
female genital
I don't think he can hear
mutilation.
you.
I don't think you can hear a thing.
Nobody
No.
talks about male genital mutilation. That's
Thank
what
you,
it
Ralph.
is.
Definitely appreciate that. Thanks for the call tonight.
I don't think we need to stand up with any of the stuff saying, it could cause psychological damage. That could be easily checked, and I think
Could
that
it? How?
Well, you take a test group of people who have been circumcised and people who have not been circumcised, and you check and see how many times they've been to prison. What do they act out on? How many times have they been arrested? This would be relatively easy to see because we know how childhood trauma works. I tend to think that is just spurious stuff that's thrown into the mix. But here's a factoid for you. All medical procedures have risk.
And by factoid, you mean something that appears to be true but is not, or a factoid that is a small little fact?
Yeah, it's a little fact.
Okay.
I mean, factoid almost doesn't mean what it used to mean.
Yeah.
It now means the opposite.
So give me the number. What was it again?
All medical procedures have risk.
That's right.
And that means some children die every year from infections having to do with circumcision.
Has to mean that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to presume otherwise sounds like a pretty Pollyanna-ish stance. So what percentage chance do you want to take for your kid to die so that his wingding looks like what you think they should look like?
In my opinion, it's a horrific and barbaric practice that should go the way of the dodo.
And also this is the way God made it. And if you go and you change it, you're saying that God made a mistake. And, that's just... Look, I know there's religions based around doing the cutting and stuff. Those religions are wrong. I'm going to go on the record. All right? You have a religious ceremony. Don't cut your kid up for kicks.
Right. I mean, you could do it later if you wanted to.
Yeah, let a kid grow up and decide, right?
Some people have to have it, right? There's sometimes a kid's, the part in the front there doesn't open up enough. And so when it slides back, it's uncomfortable and these sorts of things. We have a medical procedure included in in the arena of plastic surgery to handle that. And it'll be fine. Everything's okay. There's a variety of things that can be done, including ointments and stuff like that to avoid it. But I mean, you're talking about a small percentage of kids that are going to need this particular procedure, so you don't need to do a preemptive procedure that has risk.
And isn't circumcision religion fueled? Right?
A lot of
it came from originally,
but not so much these days. It's just common now.
Yeah, it's just the way it's done. But becoming a lot less common.
What happened when you had Jack outside of the hospital system, right? I was just going to ask, in most hospitals, is it like check here if you want to be, have the baby circumcised? Because that's why I was going to say I can't really ask you because you didn't have a baby in the hospital. You did it outside.
My wife did not have a baby in the hospital, and we had decided that we were going to go with the whole intact thing because we didn't want to take any. Why do that?
But I'm just wondering what happens with most parents, because most people go to a hospital. Is it one of those things where it's like, well, we're just going to do it by default and you have to opt out, or do all these people opt in? Is it some sort of a consensual thing?
The terminology mutilation, I think, is probably pretty correct. There tends to be less straightness in kids that are not intact than ones that are. So, I mean, you can't do a perfect cut. So there's pulling more on one side than the other. And what's it do? It creates some bins.
The toll-free number tonight, if you want to talk about it, you can. Now, obviously, we can't get into too much detail on the radio about these matters, but this is a clinical discussion, I think, so it's okay. We're not trying to pander.
Most people deal with this question in their lives.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Well, I wasn't given the choice, and I suspect most of us were not.
Me neither.
855-450-FREE. Like freedom, you can take control of the airwaves here and bring up what you want. This is Free Talk Live.
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call. 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program.
This message is for all sexually active men. Now, you can get the same active ingredients as in Viagra and Cialis online in chewable form from BlueChew.com. Chewable can mean better, cheaper, and for some men, work faster. Get started 100% online. So no in-person doctor visit, no waiting at the pharmacy, and no more awkwardness. BlueChew.com ships directly to your door in discreet packaging. So order now. You'll love it, and so will your partner. For a limited time, first-time customers get their first shipment free. Just pay $5 shipping when you use the promo code FAST at BlueChew.com. Chewable can mean better, cheaper, and for some men, work faster. That's BlueChew.com, promo code FAST.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The service is not intended to replace your primary care physician or cure any disease.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. And, whew, boy, has it been a good 24 hours. Good last several days for Bitcoin. The price right now, as we are performing this episode of Free Talk Live, is $7,874 per Bitcoin. Now, that is up in just the last 24 hours, nearly $500. Bitcoin. Oops, I keep doing this one, Captain. I'm so sorry. Try that
You
now.
cannot silence the captain.
No. Yes, sir.
Bitcoin, I thought you were dead.
No, it's doing great, actually, over the last week. It's up nearly not quite $1,000. Well, it did dip below 7,000 at one point. So yeah, it's up over $1,000 in the last 5 days, basically.
Yeah, I made a meme about that once. It was a really well done artist sketch of Snake Plissken of Escape from New York, and he wears the patch over So what I did is I superimposed the Bitcoin logo onto the patch. Right, and so it was just this picture of Snake Plissken. It said, "Bitcoin, I thought you were dead," and then it was like, "Bitcoin, the Snake Plissken of cryptocurrency."
All right, I've never heard Bitcoin likened to Snake Plissken, but I do love Snake Plissken, and I do love Bitcoin.
I thought you were dead.
So if you're interested in cryptocurrency, look, it's still the early days, even though it's been 11 years since Bitcoin has come out. By the way, happy birthday, Bitcoin. It's that time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Sure is.
I think it's like right around now, actually. It might have been the 3rd or something like that. January,
something like that.
Somewhere in this range.
Very early.
This is the week of the release of the Bitcoin code by Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2009, and it was worth nothing then.
Right. I keep on seeing experts that they're looking at the price of Bitcoin, and they used to say Bitcoin's dead, Bitcoin's dead, Bitcoin's dead.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't see them saying that anymore.
Really?
Now they say
on.
things like, well, Bitcoin's volatile, and I'll go
true.
with that. But if Bitcoin continues on the sort of patterns that it has been on, and I don't know whether it will, but if it does, you can expect in the next couple of years that it tops out at like $115,000 and never sees 20,000 again. So presumably Bitcoin's on sale right now.
Yep.
Now, I don't know, and Bitcoin kind of market sets for the rest of the cryptos these days. I don't know whether Bitcoin's just going to go crash and burn and another one of the cryptos is going to take its place. There's no way to say anything about this.
Could be, but either way, whether you're going to get Bitcoin, BTC, or one of the alternatives, or several of the alternatives like Dash or Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, Ravencoin, and others, you ought to go get the Edge wallet. It'll allow you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. It's available for iOS and Android devices. And you can go and secure your freedom. This is a veteran team. They've been building wallets since 2014 for cryptocurrency. They started with Bitcoin way back when that was really the only choice. And now they've got this great multi-crypto wallet called Edge. You go to edge.app. You can learn more about the technology behind Edge and just go straight to your iOS or Android App Store, Play Store, and download Edge Wallet and get started. It's super easy to do. And as I said, it is not too late. Remember, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin to get into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's one of the most common misconceptions about Bitcoin. Oh, I can never afford one.
Right.
You don't have to buy one.
Got $20?
Yeah, you can buy just $20 worth of it.
So you can do that. And you can buy it through the app, as a matter of fact. So they make it super easy. Edge.app, go learn more about that. We've been talking overarchingly tonight about transportation industry related issues. We discussed Uber and Lyft and their new challenges out in California, fighting against labor unions and government goons and taxi cab companies and such. But now let's change into the story about the Chevy Volt. This is the electric-only car. And Mark, you've got an electric, not electric only, but you've got an electric hybrid, right?
I have a hybrid, yeah. Plug-in hybrid.
Did you look at the Volt? Did you consider going all electric when you made that buy?
We make a cross-country trip every single year.
Yeah, not going to cut it for that.
And I'm not interested in trying to find plugs every 200 miles to, if that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure that these are the right vehicles for some people. They just weren't for
city
us.
dwellers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Or folks who don't commute very far, that type of a thing.
Right.
What do we need to know, Captain Kickass?
So
What's going on?
I ran across this article because I'm always interested in, privacy. And this came across one of my feeds about spying, ironically enough. But the article headline is Washington Post hacked into a Chevy Volt to show how much cars are spying on their owners. So it turns out your car is, basically a computer littered with
These days,
software and electronics of all types, sensors of all different types.
Right.
What happens to that data? Where does it go? Who collects it? These are all really good questions that this particular article points out.
Well, I know that our Friday night co-host, Chris Wade from thinkpenguin.com, who's a super privacy-oriented kind of guy, like when you want to get somebody's opinion who knows a thing or two about this stuff, he's the guy to go to. And I know he was telling me the other day, I don't know if you were there for this conversation, but he was saying that he wants to buy another car from 2005 specifically, because after that point, they really started going heavy into more computerization. Obviously, they had computers in the cars around then too, but they got it in, even more to where there's like black boxes now in cars that are recording all the data.
Get a 76 Jimmy 4-wheel drive. That's your bug-out vehicle, baby.
But he wanted to buy another 2005 certain type of car before they put in this like internet black box.
Right.
That he said they had black boxes prior to that, but those black boxes just recorded the data and kept it in the car. But after 2005, they started to transmit the data. Like if you hook your cell phone up or whatever to your, what do they call the package where you get the computer in the dashboard or whatever?
I don't know what you call it.
Whatever that is. You've got it in your car, Mark. Those punch screens or touch screen computers.
Touch screen in the car,
You link up your cell phone with that? Well, they're using your internet connection to upload data about you, apparently.
They are, sure.
And so he said he wanted to buy another car. So even though he doesn't actually need a car right now, he just wants to get an older car so he can garage it. That way when his current car dies, he can go back to this same model car or this older car and not have to get a newer one.
Yeah, that's smart thinking,
Maybe.
in my opinion.
I don't know that I want to let a car sit. It's not good for them. They're vehicles that are intended to move.
Well, maybe he'll drive it around a little bit. I don't know.
Probably a good idea.
You do have to maintain it. But this is from caranddriver.com. Your car is collecting and transmitting a lot more data than you think, as this investigation graphically depicts. The Washington Post published an investigative report today in which it gets a hacker to figure out just what kind of information OnStar and a randomly selected 2017 model car's internal computers are collecting. A lot, it turns out, including saving pictures of your contacts and logging where you go. There are ways to limit how much data your car collects, but they're not obvious, the paper concludes. And the tinfoil treatment humorously shown in the accompanying photo won't do the trick. They do have looks like a Prius that somebody's wrapped in tinfoil. It's pretty hilarious.
That doesn't sound very safe.
It looks like he had his kid do it. You know what I mean? It's all kind of poorly done.
Wrap your windshield in tinfoil. Not a good plan.
It's easy to count up the benefits to connected cars, from using your phone to warming up the cabin on a winter day to setting the speed limits for the new teenage drivers in your households.
Yeah.
Telematics can make life a bit easier, but you're probably not surprised
There's a dark side
to hear that these upsides come with some potential downsides as well.
Yeah.
This was proven in a big way by Washington Post tech columnist Jeffrey Fowler, who dug into just how much information his test car, a 2017 Chevy Volt, is collecting. Perhaps more important, though, Fowler wanted to see just how much information GM is getting from its connected cars.
So they randomly chose the Volt. This didn't have specifically to do with the Volt. It said in the very first paragraph that this was a random choice.
Right.
So if they're doing it with the Volt, they're doing it with their whole line, just to be clear.
Yeah. And I think that they alluded to specifically OnStar style stuff, but we'll find out more here in a second.
OnStar has always taken the brunt force of this particular complaint for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that, say, Google Auto. Do you know about this app, Ian?
You have it on your phone.
I have it on my phone, and it's an app that basically interfaces with the automobile to help you get Waze right on that screen and all that stuff.
So Google's doing the same stuff.
I mean, let's be serious here. Who are we talking about?
Right. Yeah.
We're talking about the biggest information company on the planet.
Yeah.
Yes, they know exactly where I've been all the time. I can go look.
Yeah, and OnStar,
they'll show me.
As you said, OnStar gets the brunt of it, but that's because they were the first to market with, a in-car assistance,
they get
package. And so even if you don't have OnStar, you can probably bet that the guts of this system is still in your car. And like you said, if you connect Google to it, poof, it's going to grab all that data and upload it to their cloud instead of OnStar's. So we'll continue with the story here in moments. And if you want to weigh in on, the lack of privacy, this is the world that we live in today. You've got to spend time, you've got to spend effort, you've got to spend money to achieve privacy. And in these cases, they say there's certain ways to turn this stuff off. But how do you really know? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you hit the little toggle switch, some deep menu that you found. That doesn't mean it's actually turned off. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Balance of Nature's fruit and veggie capsules contain 100% fine-ripened fruits and vegetables, tested pure with no pesticides, fillers, or additives of any kind, and are the most effective whole food supplements on the market today. Fruits and vegetables are on an average 85% water. Balance of Nature uses cold vacuum technology to remove the water, leaving only the whole food. We don't use any heat, air, or light drying methods that damage nutrients. Our cold vacuum technology maintains 99% of the fresh fruits and vegetables' original nutritional value. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we will take an additional 35% off of your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,552, silver at $18.06, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,545. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, Iraq's parliament voted in an extraordinary session Sunday to expel all American troops from the country and file a United Nations complaint against the U.S. for violating Iraq's sovereignty with his assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. Ahead of the vote, chants of "No, No America" rang out inside the hall. As the National reported, the Iraqi parliament approved a 5-point action plan that would require the Iraqi government to end the presence of foreign troops in the country and withdraw its request for assistance from the anti-ISIS global coalition. Parliament also called on the government to ban the use of Iraqi airspace by any foreign power, according to the National. The U.S. currently has around 5,000 troops stationed in Iraq. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. 60 Minutes has revealed several new data points in the death of wealthy pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which raise more questions than they answer, and suggest that the financier did not kill himself, an opinion the New York City Medical Examiner's Office stands firmly behind. While we've heard all sorts of theories about the improbabilities of the force required by the nearly 6-foot-tall Epstein to successfully hang himself while breaking an unusual 3 bones in his neck, usually seen in strangulations, that's nowhere near the most peculiar part of Epstein's demise. The Mind Unleashed reports that for the first time, we gained a look at the noose Epstein used to allegedly kill himself. Photos admitted as evidence reveal a clean cloth with no blood despite Epstein's clearly bloody neck. Moreover, both ends of the noose were hemmed, not cut, while the guard who found Epstein reportedly cut him down. Also odd is that Epstein's ligature wound, allegedly left by said bloodless noose, is fairly low on his neck. Opposition to 5G is worldwide. Activist post reports on multiple lawsuits have already been filed about it in the U.S. Doctors, scientists, engineers, and public advocates have asked President Trump for a moratorium on 5G. Expert warnings include more than biological and environmental risks. People and animals have been getting sick where 5G is turned on. Telecom companies have admitted they have no scientific evidence that 5G is safe. Regardless, the Federal Communications Commission continues to promote and force installation. That's why tens of thousands of small cells have already been installed by T-Mobile and other telecoms, and hundreds of thousands more are predicted to be installed. More details can be found in the Fierce Wireless article, What AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile Don't Want You to Know About Their 5G Deployments. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
If he looks different than the other students on this college campus, it's because he's only 13 years old. But the amazing young Tyler is already consuming alcohol on the level of someone twice his age, and his talents have gotten him accepted at Ohio State University.
We are lucky to be joined today by the little prodigy himself, along with Tyler's parents, Jack and Christine. Good morning, guys.
Thanks for having us. Tyler, most kids your age are in middle school and probably think that alcohol doesn't taste good, but not you.
Yeah, I like to drink liquor or beer or whatever. There's way more beer at college than at my house.
I'll bet there is. Your professors and classmates, everyone there at OSU says you just fit right in. You must have a lot of new friends.
Yeah, I'm just like everybody else. I go to class, I show up wasted, I leave early.
Wow.
So many impressive moments. You're active in a fraternity. You've streaked at 4 baseball games. You've broken an arm falling off a house. You've even made the wall of shame at a hooligan.
That night was stupid crazy.
That was a special day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour here. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord call-in line rooms at discord.lrn.fm. Plus, Free Talk Live is brought to you by the AnyPay Ambassador Program. They finally, for the first time, I think, really, in the cryptocurrency industry, AnyPay has created an incentive to bring businesses on board with accepting cryptocurrency.
So cool.
I'm really excited about this. It's finally happening. You make it happen, so you receive the rewards, which is to say you'll get passive income for every cryptocurrency purchase, specifically with Bitcoin and Dash. You said last night, Mark, crypto purchases. If you pay with Bitcoin BTC, you will not. If your customer pays with Bitcoin BTC, you will not earn on that. Okay. But Bitcoin Cash and Dash, which are the two top most used cryptocurrencies at retail, at least here in Keene, New Hampshire, which is one of the hot spots on the planet, you will get paid on that if you're the person who set up the business with the AnyPay Cash Register app. Here's what you do. You download the AnyPay Cash Register app on iOS or Android, set it up for you, meaning on your own phone, you put your addresses in the back end of the system, so when you get a payment, it goes right into whatever wallet you have. Maybe it's Edge Wallet or one of the other ones out there. So then once you're set up to receive payments, you then go and set up your favorite business to accept AnyPay. Use the AnyPay Cash Register app, and then just let AnyPay know. Just tell them about it over at AnyPayInc.com. That's AnyPayInc.com, and they will get you hooked up, presuming it's a real business. Like, they're going to check and make sure that's real. because this money is not coming out of thin air, right? Like this isn't coming from, just to be clear, the business owner isn't paying this fee, meaning that when they charge their customer, the customer's not paying extra for this. They're just getting, the business owner's just getting 100% of the sales. So the money's coming from elsewhere. The money's coming from, in this case, other things that AnyPay is doing to generate some revenue.
Well, and we had this discussion at the crypto meetup the other day. What is going to eventually drive the price of crypto, higher and higher? Well, that's adoption. Usage, right? That's what makes it valuable. So if you've been listening to this show for a time, you're very familiar with our stance on crypto, and you maybe even also have some. So it's up to everybody who has cryptocurrency to do their part, to get folks signed up and
this
get this thing moving.
This gives those people an incentive beyond just doing it for the sake of crypto.
Right.
Like, that's good, and I've done a lot of that, but it'd be nice to actually have somebody make a living off of this. It's not to that point yet, right? Because even if you do bring a company on, it's not like there's going to be a barrage of new customers coming in. All right, I want to spend my crypto. It's still going to be small. It's going to be a very small portion of their sales, but you will get a cut of every single one of them.
Right. And you're getting that cut in cryptocurrency, too. So then
instantly,
when that cryptocurrency goes up in value, whatever you receive just went up in value.
Exactly.
So, it's got so much potential.
And it comes right when the sale happens. You don't have to wait a month or weeks or whatever for some check to get cut or whatever. It's just, boom, right there. Comes into your wallet. Let's go to Andrew. He's in Colorado. Andrew, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. I was calling in tonight trying to call about I'm on UAs, and I feel like this is
urine analysis?
Mandated. Yeah, urine analysis.
Okay.
But government mandated urine analysis. I really genuinely feel like
you got warrants?
Government mandated. What's that?
You got warrants?
No,
I think
do
that would
not
be
have
probation.
warrants.
That's likely probation.
No,
right?
it's probation. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. But first of all, let me just say, I really feel like this is government mandated sexual abuse. I mean,
really?
I'm being forced to expose myself. They stare at me while I'm urinating.
Right. It's
Through
creepy.
a mirror. One of the most private acts that somebody commits, going to the bathroom, aside from sex, I guess.
Right.
But this all came from I actually have a child abuse charge. Sounds terrible, but what happened was I was at a Denny's eating with my daughter. I was high on weed. The people who worked there.
I mean, you're at
apparently
Denny's,
thought
so
I
there's a
was
good chance
stoned.
you're high on weed, right? Sorry, go ahead.
Right. Yeah, but so apparently the people there thought I looked stoned, and they called the police. The police came there, asked me. I said yes, I have had some weed, but I didn't drive here. We weren't planning on driving home. I didn't think it would be an issue because weed's legal, and I thought it was the same as alcohol because that was the law that was passed, and you're allowed to have a drink with your kid at the restaurant as long as you're not driving home drunk. But apparently they said you have to have one sober party there, and it turned into a child abuse charge. I lost my daughter. I'm on. Yeah,
They said that you had. Hold on. They say that in Colorado, you have to have a sober party when you're just out and about, or out with your own child.
No matter what, if you're supervising a child, there has to be one sober party there.
Oh my
God! So if I
God.
was there with someone else who was sober, it wouldn't have been child abuse. But I wasn't high off my butt,
Oh my God!
Yeah, because so many stoners are beating their children.
Yeah, this is insane.
I mean, I've not heard anything
No, dude,
like this.
you are in a pickle, and I know what you mean about the invasiveness of the government mandated UA. It's far different. Most folks only brushes with UAs is like a pre-employment drug screen, right? Where you go to some clinic and they kind of leave the door open a little bit, just but they're not staring at you. But when it's government mandated, it's a little bit different.
So wait a minute. I just want to know. So they arrested you in front of your kid? What happened there?
Oh yeah, they. So what they did was they arrested me, put me in handcuffs. My daughter's crying. Asking me what's wrong, Dad.
Now that's
what's
child
wrong,
abuse.
Dad? Yeah, that's child abuse. But they called her mother. Luckily, they didn't put her into protective custody.
Right.
I'm not with her mother, but her mother came and picked her up. Looked at me like I was the biggest piece of crap in the world, and left with my daughter. And since that day, that was a little over a year ago, and I have not seen my daughter once since then. I've been working to get her back since then. I'm still on UAs, still trying to show them I'm, that I'm clean and all that, prove to them, even though I hate working with the government. Like, I have to get my daughter back. That's the most important thing to me.
Wow,
but
man.
I mean,
really sorry to
every
hear
time
that.
I go in there to take a UA, I feel violated, and it is
a violation. And the suggestion here is that you're somehow not sober if you have had smoked a little cannabis, and that's not going to affect your ability to parent. It's not good. There are, I don't know how many millions of parents out there in the United States who use cannabis on a recreational basis, but there's a lot of them, and they're fine. They're not beating their kids. They're not becoming more violent. They're not dangerous. They're not. And as you pointed out, you weren't driving. What did you walk there? How'd you get there?
Right. Yeah, I lived right next to the Denny's at the time, and we walked there, and we're gonna walk back home.
Right. So, I mean, there's no risk whatsoever. Yeah. You're not going to lose track. Oh, my God, where'd she go? You're not going to lose track of your daughter or something like that just because you've had a little bit of cannabis. But here's what I want to recommend to everybody out there. And again, I'm not an attorney, so this isn't legal advice. But my recommendation, based on my experience, is do not answer these people's questions.
Yeah.
You basically talked your way into an arrest in that circumstance because you were honest with those cops thinking, oh, there's no problem here. Well, it turns out you didn't know what all the laws were, and you told them what the truth was, and they went ahead and punished you for it.
At that point, you're guilty. Whereas you could have said, I don't know what these officers are talking. Are they medical professionals? How could they possibly know whether I was stoned or not?
You could have said, I don't answer questions. Well, leave me alone.
It was a huge mistake, and I even went as far as to tell them how much edible I had eaten, which in the report they said that was equivalent to a keg of beer in their police report, which obviously they have no idea what is the equivalent of a keg of beer.
Oh my God!
It's like 30 milligrams, which is nothing for me. But so
my advice to you is be very careful and tread carefully, because now you have family court involved, right? It's because there's a child involved. Now you have family court involved, and of all of the courts in the United States of America, that family court is the least responsible. And the most powerful without hardly any oversight. So be very careful.
Andrew, feel free to let us know if there's any other developments of interest in the case. Thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Surprise! Don't talk to the police. It will almost never be to your benefit. There's more coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. Have you heard of LibertyCon? LibertyCon is not only a convention with great speakers like Whole Foods CEO and co-founder John Mackey and Nobel Prize winner Vernon Smith, but it's also unique because you get a chance to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations, one-on-one for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. April 3rd through 5th in Washington, D.C. You can learn more by visiting libertycon.com and use code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. That's libertycon.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Free Talk Live.
I don't care what they wrote down on pieces of paper. The fact is, this government exists through consent. It exists through mass consent because people believe in it. It's a cult. People believe in the idea that it's okay to aggress against their neighbors so long as they have a good reason for it. They believe that it's okay to aggress against their neighbors so long as a majority of people walking into some booth check a box somewhere.
People spend more time thinking about the government and pledging allegiance to the flag than they do. Many people spend more time pledging allegiance to the flag than they do praying to their God. Their religion is this government.
It's actually, if you believe in like the Christian religion and all that, putting other gods above your God is usually a pretty bad thing.
Yeah, to me, the Pledge of Allegiance is simply a prayer to the God of the government.
It's essentially religious indoctrination for the state.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you get the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us right here, toll free at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you tonight, it's Ian,
the captain,
and Mark. I want to tell you about Balance of Nature. This product, they've got quite a few products, but their fruit and veggie capsules are what I am most enamored with, and what we're talking about right now. With these fruit and veggie capsules, you can take 3 of each. That's 6 capsules, and you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that's a lot of nutrition. It's a lot. People report after taking Balance of Nature, skin looking better, bags under their eyes go away, an increase in energy, body pains reduced or goes away, getting sick less or not at all. You can go online and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. After your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no additional charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. It's a limited time offer. Don't wait. I've taken these. I think they're great. Go to balanceofnature.com. Use the discount code FTL. Balanceofnature.com. Coupon code FTL.
All right, let's go back to your calls and thoughts, and then we got more on hacking your car coming up here in a little bit. What kind of data is your car collecting on you? We'll talk about it. But first, we've got Alexander calling in. He is on the line all the way from the Mariana Islands. Good afternoon, Alexander. What time is it over there?
Yeah, it's about 12:20 p.m.
12:20,
so just calling in.
It's high noon over there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard that last call was absolutely heart-wrenching to hear what happened to that caller. And it just made me think about how important it is to keep your privacy up and make it as hard as possible for the government to infringe on your rights. And in regards to that, I suggest that all your listeners look into window tinting laws in their area. Since all Americans are driving around most of the day to get to work, to go on errands, having increased window tint can really improve your privacy on a day-to-day basis. Could be the difference between getting pulled over and not.
Yeah, some states are pretty restrictive on this. New Hampshire is not a good state when it comes to window tinting. I believe there's no tinting allowed, if I recall correctly, on like the front windows. You can have tinting on the rear seat windows, and maybe the back window as well. I'm not an attorney, and I have not researched this closely. I know that's better in Florida. And what's the law out in Marianas?
There isn't a law, actually. Now
Nice.
that you mention it, I just got
Just
my
get out a
windows
can of black
tinted.
spray paint and do the whole thing.
That's not very safe,
Yeah,
Mark.
No, it's not.
I just got my car completely blacked out now, and it feels so much better. Both the UV protection and, more importantly, the privacy.
So wait, just to be clear,
no one
you
can
already got
see
a
it.
car. You've been down there two weeks. You already snagged a car for yourself?
Yeah, I just went on to the local Facebook buy and sell group, negotiated with a Chinese non-citizen but Chinese resident here, picked up his car, signed it over. It was a pretty easy process all in all.
Really?
Nice. I went and looked for a Marianas Islands Craigslist and was unable to find it.
Yeah, what they used there was a Facebook. They like to keep it personal. They don't want all those Craigslist scammers on there. Instead, if you have it tied to your personal identity, it's much safer and more trusted.
Man, I don't want to be getting back on Facebook.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I've been off Facebook for 2 years. Although I got to say that people really do seem to like the Facebook Marketplace. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Like Aria needed a skateboard. She went on there, found one, no time, like cheap, $30 skateboard or whatever, got her what she needed, and she got it fast. So it sounds like it's probably one of the better features that they've got. So you bought this car. Was it like an American car, a Japanese car? Because the Mariana Islands are like almost to Japan and China. Like it's in the Asian Pacific or whatever. So like, what kind of car was it?
I bought a Nissan car, a Japanese car.
So
Japanese cars are the cheapest and have the most availability for parts. But they do sell Jeeps and Fords and all the American classics.
Now, so you bought a used car, and did it have like, is the steering wheel on the left side of the car or is it on the right side? Meaning, if you're sitting in looking out the front of the car.
It's the same as it is everywhere else in America.
Okay.
The left
Interesting.
side.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any place in America where you drive on the wrong side of the road.
Sure, and I presume that also means you're driving on the same side of the road as you would in the United States.
That's correct. Yeah, I don't want to give people the wrong impression. Although the freedoms might seem like those better than the U.S., it is still the U.S.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but as you've pointed out before, the crypto frontier, cryptofrontier.org, that's this project of migrating crypto people to the Mariana Islands. You've argued that it is probably the freest of all the places in the United States because it's not quite, it's not a state, and so it doesn't have the same overbearing federal level of invasion. I mean, the feds are there, there's no doubt about it, but it's not quite the same. You've pointed out that they have looser immigration rules, so more people can come there without, as much trouble, for instance.
Yeah. Well, in regards to your federal comment, the federal presence measured by expenditure, at least, is the lowest of anywhere in the U.S. It's about $16 million a year of federal spending, which is much, much lower. I believe New Hampshire is over $100 million.
Wow.
So there's a big difference in federal spending. There is a DHS and a TSA, but instead of having hundreds of each agent, you'll have a couple. The FBI field office is not even a handful of people here.
Nice.
So there is a federal presence, but it's much smaller. And you feel that in the lack of regulations, tint, the lack of taxes, the lack of many other things that.
Well, I don't think the feds control window tinting laws. Those are generally state-related laws. But it is good to know that there are no regulations on that. So when you got your window tinting, what percentage? Don't they rate it by like percentage of light that is allowed through?
Yeah, that's how they sometimes do it. The place I did, they had like medium and dark. And dark is blacked out. You can't see anything in. And medium is probably illegal in New Hampshire. Like a pretty strong tint still.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
All right.
So
anything else you want to share?
Update.
Yeah.
Letting you know that you should look into tinting laws in your state. It can make a big difference in your privacy. And if you're fed up with the lack of tint freedom, you know where to come.
There you go. Thanks, Alexander. Cryptofrontier.org is his website. By the way, I did send out an announcement, Mark, that you are on your second to last show from New Hampshire on Free Talk Live. Your last show is going to be on Wednesday night. and then you're leaving first to Hong Kong for a few days, like a week maybe.
Not even.
And then you're going to be going from Hong Kong to the Mariana Islands, where you will be making a home for yourself there for some indeterminate period of time.
Right. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going to happen in the Mariana Islands, but I've seen the case made that it could be a very free place and that it'd be a great place to attract people who are interested in creating a crypto cluster and perhaps, spur some adoption. So, yeah, I'm going to go check it out.
We've created a chat room on our Discord server, and I've seen Alexander in there answering some questions. Not everybody is friendly, of course, on the Discord server, so you are going to get some viewpoints that are going to be challenging. But it's a good place to go and kind of talk about things. We've been talking about the internet connectivity, which is surprisingly good, actually, out there, because like a bunch of lines go into Guam, and the Marianas are just to the north of Guam, so there's really good internet connectivity there as well. We got more coming up here. Thanks, Alexander. It's Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And also join us on our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. As I mentioned, there is the Mariana Islands chat room there. There's different chat rooms. There's one for gaming and one for discussion of New Hampshire, which is, of course, where the longest-running freedom migration has been happening. Cryptocurrency is one of our chat rooms there. There's one for not safe for work memes and things like that.
Oh my.
So fun stuff over at discord.lrn.fm. Hop on in there, and you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners who may or may not share your opinions. So head on over there and have fun at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian. Oh, yep, you noticed, Captain, before even I did. Very good.
You trying to silence the dissent? That seems anti-you. It's Captain Kickass, everybody.
And Mark.
So let's get back into your story, Captain. You brought in this piece about... It's talking about the Chevy Volt, but they admit in the first paragraph that that was randomly chosen as the car where they looked closely. They hired a hacker at the Washington Post and said, we want to know all about the data that this car is collecting. And so it's not just the Volt. It's going to be probably every car in Chevy's line, and probably the Toyotas, and probably the Nissans, and probably everything out there likely at this point, whether it's government mandated or just the direction the industry's going in. You better expect that there's some kind of computer watching you.
Yeah, for sure. From using your phone to warming up the cabin on a winter day to setting speed limits for the teenage drivers, telematics can make your life easier, but you're probably
Telematics. That's a new word for me.
Yeah.
Telematics.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's, the ability.
Is it TELE?
Yeah, just like you think, MATICS. Can make life easier, but you're probably not surprised to hear that these upsides come with some potential downsides.
I'm going to define it here if you don't mind. Telematics is a interdisciplinary field that encompasses telecommunications, vehicular technologies, for instance, road transportation, safety, electrical engineering, and computer science. So, yeah, computers in cars, basically.
Right. And this was proven in a big way by Washington Post tech columnist Jeffrey Fowler. We've been over this part already. The reporter made it clear that this is not a Volt thing or a Chevy thing.
Right.
Nearly all new cars now have connectivity, including onboard internet connections. For now, exactly what information goes where is a bit of an unknown by anyone other than the automakers themselves, as Fowler writes. My Chevy's dashboard didn't say what the car was recording. It wasn't in the owner's manual. There was no way to download it. To figure this out, Fowler had someone hack into the Volt. He discovered that the car was recording details about where the car was driven and parked, call logs, identification information for his phone, and contact information from his phone, right down to people's addresses, emails, and even photos.
Wow.
Well, that sounds so bad until you realize that's true for Google for everybody, right?
Sure.
Like, you've got your phone. Like, Google knows all that information about you already.
Right.
So it's just,
Apple.
A different corporation is trying to mine your data.
Right.
Well, they're mining the data that's captured on, say, a Google device that you've connected now to your car, and now both entities have all of that information. So
Correct.
It replicates, right? In another example, Fowler bought a Chevy infotainment computer on eBay, used, I presume, and was able to extract private information from it about whoever owned it before him, including pictures of the person the previous owner called, quote, sweetie, unquote.
Mm-hmm.
While GM was
nice,
the
by the way.
subject of Fowler's experiments, it's not the only company collecting data on its drivers.
No, I suspect not.
In 2017, the U.S. Government Accountability Office looked at automakers and their data privacy policies and found that the 13 car companies it looked at are not exactly using best practices. For example, while automakers say they obtain explicit consumer consent before collecting the data, the GAO says that they offered few options besides opting out of all connected vehicle services to consumers who did not want to share their data.
Yeah, I find that a lot of this, what was the term that they called it? Telematics really isn't that great when it comes to the car. For me, the best,
as far as your experience,
my
as a user?
experience, the best feature I found in sort of new cars is this adaptive cruise control. So you can set a cruise control on my car at 55 or whatever, and as low as 25, and I don't know how high you can go. And it will go that speed until it finds an obstacle and it'll, stop-ish. Like if a car's in front of you, it'll slow to the speed that car's at. If that car's going 40, it'll slow to 40. And then if that car turns off, it'll speed back up to 55. I've had the car in front of me come to a complete stop at a stoplight, and then the vehicle and then start going again.
Yeah.
And my vehicle picks back up and goes forward.
Pretty handy.
It's nice. I mean, it's almost driving itself at that point.
It could definitely save somebody from an accident.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so these companies are collecting this data, no doubt about it. I mean, that's almost to be expected at this point in technology and time. But what about the government? I mean, here, I think it's ironic that you have the Government Accountability Office talking about how bad these companies are, when in point of fact, it's probably the government that has mandated a lot of the technology go into these cars.
Yeah.
And further, they certainly will utilize this technology to do things like, gather your data about you if they are trying to collect data on where you're going and what you're doing with your car. They've got a warrant to track you. They'll get access to all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they'll use it against you.
Yeah, the whole privacy thing is a delicate balance between convenience and ease of services.
There's no more balance,
right?
There's no more balance out there.
No.
It's all, you have no privacy basically by default.
That's
in this world today.
Right.
If you want to try to have more privacy, well, you got to put in some more time and effort.
A bunch of effort. Yeah.
How do you undo the Google web? I mean,
you get a flip phone or something like that.
Right. You'd have to really just
pop the battery out whenever you aren't using it. Drive to a different location when you want to use your phone. Or, I mean, you can't use pay phones for the most part. They don't exist anymore, barely.
Yeah. No. The only way is to set up your account. Like, let's say you've got an Android phone, so you're going to be using Google. You set up a new Gmail account. You literally burn that phone, right?
And do nothing with it that could personally identify you.
Right, and delete that Google address that you used to create that. Or, a series of hard resets on your device. Well, it's Tuesday. Time to hard reset my device. back to the factory so that it wipes out all the crap that's on there. But all that's been stored anyway somewhere, so you can't really get away from any of that when it comes to being Googled.
I mean, at this point, you just move to Zimbabwe and get a flip phone. I mean, if you want privacy. Other than that, it's gone.
Yeah. GM's OnStar privacy page makes it clear that the company may use your information to improve the quality, safety, and security of products and services, to develop new products and services, and for marketing, quote unquote, in response to Car and Driver's request for comment. For this article, a GM spokesperson said, "Nothing happens in terms of connected services without customer consent."
Relax.
You consented to it. Okay, wait a minute. You mean that thing where it said you agree to the terms and service or terms and conditions that you hit okay or accept on that no one actually reads? That's what they're talking about, right?
When you buy a new car, now I've never purchased a new car, so I don't know this. But when you buy a new car and it's got all the new fandangled gadgetry and internet connected, yada, yada, at what point do you click, I agree?
Probably the first time you turn it on.
To the EULA. Like, I've never seen that come up in a car, ever.
Because you weren't the new car buyer,
yeah,
right? But that's the other thing.
I don't know.
If the other person who bought it opted in and then you buy it used, or you get into the car and you're borrowing it or whatever, you're not given the terms of service.
Right. Yeah.
You're just plugging in your phone and, boom, you're connected.
Well, even if they have a new terms of service every time you plug your phone
You still
in,
won't read it.
It wouldn't make a difference. Those things don't make a difference. They've done studies on it where it says you've given your firstborn child and
sold your soul to Satan.
Sold like a whole variety of crazy things, and people don't read that stuff.
And as I pointed out earlier in the show tonight, it doesn't matter if you read it because they can change the terms of service at any time. And some of the terms actually say that they can change them without notice.
Yeah.
Frequently, they'll give you notice. They'll shoot you an email or whatever. We're updating our terms. And your continued usage of the car is your continued agreement that you agree with the new terms. That's what they'll say.
Perpetual auto renewal.
There's more coming up here if you want to share your thoughts on tracking, because there's also an even more sinister side to this coming up.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Do you feel like many of us? All the distractions in the world taking our minds and focus off what really needs to get done day to day? Well, Janess has a dietary supplement called Mind to help with mental distraction, and it supports memory function. Go to GCNlife.com now to check it out. You're only at your best when your mind is at its best. Go to GCNlife.com or call toll-free 844-443-6637. That's GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want here. In these remaining moments, we have enough time for you. If you dial in now, our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, Ian,
Captain,
and Mark.
And also want to say thanks to Nick. That's N-I-K, Nick, who is a Free Talk Live Silver amplifier. That means Nick is contributing $5 a month to our AMP program. And that means he's helping us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live, helping us get on more radio stations. We're on over 200 stations, coast to coast and beyond, as far out as Guam and Alaska, and even the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we're out there, and we could be out there further and on more stations, but it does take money and time to advertise, market, and promote. And that's the whole idea behind the AMP program, is you can help us do that for $5 a month, and you can get access to cool perks and bennies, things that only amplifiers can do and only supporters of the show have access to, like the special chat rooms on our Discord server. There's an AMP-only Facebook group and more. You can go and get all the details and get signed up, just like Nick, over at amp.freetalklive.com. And it's $5 a month or Bitcoin, so your choice. And you can use PayPal and you can use credit card as well at ampamp.freetalklive.com.
I want to tell you about Divvy. We've been talking about cryptocurrency quite a bit here on Free Talk Live. We were, in fact, the first media in the world to discuss Bitcoin. And cryptocurrencies had an interesting time over the last month or so. But I don't want you to forget about some of the little projects that might really turn into something. Divvy, not only did it increase more than the vast majority of cryptocurrencies did last year, had a news article on that not too long ago, but they're rolling out a new wallet, which is going to allow you to spend, earn, store, and exchange digital money in seconds, allow you to exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and government money right in the mobile app, and withdraw directly to your bank account. No need to wait, though. Divvy's already offering the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with their multi-tiered masternodes, allowing anyone to earn by supporting the Divvy network. And these are the one-click masternodes. They make it really, really as easy as they can. Go check it out, divvyproject.org. That's divvyproject.org.
All right, we're talking about vehicles and the computers within them and how much data they're collecting. It's happening with pretty much every car company out there. Is it a government mandate, or is this just the direction that the industry is moving in? Because, well, there's all those benefits, right? Like you can you gave an example earlier from this article, Captain Kickass, that you can set a governor on the car to make sure your teenager doesn't go faster than 55 miles an hour, or you can tell where your husband is when you think he's cheating on you, or whatever, right? Like there's all kinds of things.
Yeah, you have to set up your preferences. And like the thing that concerned me the most about learning about this was like, somebody who uses more than just their own personal vehicle, right? Mm-hmm. Like if it's your vehicle, it's your primary driver, and you've got your phone and data, stored in it and all that kind of thing, that's one thing. But like if you rent a car and you connect your phone to that, what happens to that data?
They get it all.
Right? They get it all. And so just to sort of wrap up the subject, the article says...
And this was at the Washington Post, as summarized by...
This is carandriver.com. Yeah. So the author of the article says, to limit what private data your car collects about you, Fowler recommends not connecting your phone directly to your car via the built-in USB port.
Okay.
And also to use 12-volt chargers instead. So instead of charging your device using the built-in, because that can capture some of your data, use the 12-volt one that plugs into the cigarette adapter. Right. He also suggests using an app called Privacy for Cars. It's the number 4, Privacy for Cars, to make sure you delete your data from cars you use but don't own, including rentals or when you borrow one from a friend. These tricks might not be enough when the upcoming 5G networks arrive and allow vehicles to transmit more data in less time, coming soon to a dashboard near you.
So then there's a little bit more of a sinister aspect of this. I mean, beyond the fact that the government could track you, which is the obvious one here, there's also the chance that they could stop you.
Right.
Like, this was brought up with OnStar years ago, and it was brought up as a safety feature. Like, well, if we need to, we can stop the vehicle if it's out of control or something like that, right? Well, that also means that the government can contact
whip the steering wheel to the left and run you into oncoming traffic in case we need to assassinate you.
That's what I'm talking about with the sinister aspect of this. I mean, now there's no real way to prove that is what has happened, but there are some people who believe that with certain questionable deaths of people who may have had some government interest in them.
Harambe?
I don't think it was a car accident that did him in.
I just wanted to check.
But there, and I don't remember specifically what I've heard somebody say. Well, the government could have done, somebody who died in a car wreck like that.
Epstein with Oncel?
I don't know what Oncel is.
What's Oncel? It's right in the cell. The cell's controlled by the government.
In the cells of his body, you mean? Or?
No, the cell that he was in.
Prison cell. Instead of OnStar,
in-cell. Okay, gotcha.
On-cell, not in-cell.
Okay.
That's just a libertarian.
So anyway, back to the serious matters here. But yeah, I think that's a legitimate concern that people have. And you may say to yourself, well, they're not going to do that. Well, you would never know if they did. That's the thing.
It's going to be done. And you guys remember that TV show 24? Kiefer Sutherland and all that kind of thing. So in that show, an amazing amount of things that were improbable for a government to do probably at that time. It was a little bit forward thing. All of those things are now being done.
When was this, like 05, 03 or something like
early
that?
Aughts. Yeah, I would think so. But it was this secret government force, and because they were this secret government agency, they could tap into any city's camera system, their bus system, all that kind of stuff. They could do exactly what you're talking about, like shut down a car if they could remotely hack into it some way through an OnStar or whatever. So again, it's science fiction sort of, that comes to pass.
It's true. It's now happening. Yeah. And I actually just saw a great movie last night called Upgrade, which is just a excellent kind of lower budget action film. It's about a guy, and I'm not going to give away anything here. It's the first scene in the movie where he and his girlfriend / wife they're just kind of going out. They got something to do, and it's semi-futuristic in that it's maybe set 15 or 20 years in the future from here. So all the tech is completely believable. It's stuff that we see being built today that's going to be mainstream, in a relatively short order. And so he's this car guy who fixes old cars, and he likes the old, the old cars, the muscle cars, that kind of thing. But his wife's got one of these. Hello, ma'am. Let's take you where you need to go. And the seats. There's no seats to sit in to control the car. It's one of those kinds of things, right? And we know this is coming, where you just get in the car and you can sit there and play, Yahtzee or whatever the whole time while you're in there. And so the car gets taken over by something or person or whatever, and it drives them off the path of where they were supposed to go. They can't stop it.
Right.
They've realized that they've gone off the beaten path. They're going into the bad neighborhood.
This is how the snuff film starts.
But anyway, and there is a snuffing that goes on actually right after that. So the car takes them to a location, and there's a criminal gang that's there waiting for them, and they ice this guy's wife, and they shoot him as well. And the rest of the movie is about him getting revenge, and he's assisted in his revenge because he's turned into a paraplegic or maybe a quadriplegic. Anyway, he's pretty severely injured in this fight, so he can't move anymore. And he's got a chip that's implanted in him that is makes it so his brain can once again communicate with his body through
I was
going
to say, you have self-driving cars. We don't have an exoskeleton for this dude?
He doesn't need an exoskeleton. The chip actually allows his brain to, again, resume using his body, but the chip also has the ability to take over if he gives the chip permission. And so the chip ends up helping him be this almost super level hero, kind of just whip people's butts essentially in fights because the computer is controlling his moves.
That one hasn't crossed my feed yet.
It's a great movie. It's called Upgrade, but I bring it up because the car thing that we're talking about here is critical. There's actually another scene in the movie where another car crash happens because somebody else's car is taken over by a computer in the midst of it driving, and it's just some innocent guy, and they put his car going in reverse and runs into another car that kills somebody.
Yeah, the Internet of Things, or IoT as it's commonly referred to, is both wonderful and scary depending on the application.
Right. And with the government out there, that's what makes it the scariest.
Yeah, can you imagine government, having the ability to, there's an altercation, in downtown, insert city here, right? And the government can just shut down all transportation in the area.
Sure.
That's scary.
Yep, and this future in the movie, they got drones everywhere. There's just constant drone surveillance of the city.
Man. the thing about the mysterious drones in, where were they, Colorado?
I heard
or
something
New Mexico,
about this,
something?
yeah.
Like, people have seen these, flocks of drones, and nobody
Yeah,
knows
they don't know
where
what it
they've
is.
come from or whatever. And
Don't
so,
worry about it. It's not a problem.
And so now, of course,
They're just watching you.
lawmakers want to have new laws making all drones identifiable at any time.
I thought they already had that. Don't you? Isn't the law supposed to be that
Something
if you get
like
a
that.
drone, you got to register it with the FAA?
If it's above a certain weight, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a pretty low weight from what I understand. Hey, we're out tonight. We'll see you tomorrow online. In the meantime, check out Captain Kickass at lcaptainkickass.com.
Thanks.
elcaptainkickass.com. See you tomorrow night. freetalklive.com.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I've always been high energy, just going. And I turned 40 last November, and I was tired all the time. Now, taking the balance of nature, I just feel good. I have energy when I get home to still wrestle with my kids and do the honeydews at home. Nice. I can tell that it just restored me to feeling normal, which is great.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And we'll take off an additional $25 on your first order. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FTL.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,552, silver at $18.06, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,545. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, Iraq's parliament voted in an extraordinary session Sunday to expel all American troops from the country and file a United Nations complaint against the U.S. for violating Iraq's sovereignty with his assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Baghdad. Ahead of the vote, chants of "No, No America" rang out inside the hall. As the National reported, the Iraqi parliament approved a 5-point action plan that would require the Iraqi government to end the presence of foreign troops in the country and withdraw its request for assistance from the anti-ISIS global coalition. Parliament also called on the government to ban the use of Iraqi airspace by any foreign power, according to the National. The U.S. currently has around 5,000 troops stationed in Iraq. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. 60 Minutes has revealed several new data points in the death of wealthy pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which raise more questions than they answer, and suggest that the financier did not kill himself, an opinion the New York City Medical Examiner's Office stands firmly behind. While we've heard all sorts of theories about the improbabilities of the force required by the nearly 6-foot-tall Epstein to successfully hang himself while breaking an unusual 3 bones in his neck, usually seen in strangulations, that's nowhere near the most peculiar part of Epstein's demise. The Mind Unleashed reports that for the first time, we gained a look at the noose Epstein used to allegedly kill himself. Photos admitted as evidence reveal a clean cloth with no blood, despite Epstein's clearly bloody neck. Moreover, both ends of the noose were hemmed, not cut, while the guard who found Epstein reportedly cut him down. Also odd is that Epstein's ligature wound, allegedly left by said bloodless noose, is fairly low on his neck. Opposition to 5G is worldwide. Activist Post reports that multiple lawsuits have already been filed about it in the U.S. Doctors, scientists, engineers, and public advocates have asked President Trump for a moratorium on 5G. Expert warnings include more than biological and environmental risks. People and animals have been getting sick where 5G is turned on. Telecom companies have admitted they have no scientific evidence that 5G is safe. Regardless, the Federal Communications Commission continues to promote and force installation. That's why tens of thousands of small cells have already been installed by T-Mobile and other telecoms, and hundreds of thousands more are predicted to be installed. More details can be found in the Fierce Wireless article, What AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile Don't Want You to Know About Their 5G Deployments. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. In a landmark 5-4 decision issued this Wednesday, the Supreme Court ruled to allow Americans to cram cash directly into politicians' mouths. The ruling, which effectively eradicates former prohibitions against stuffing checks and stacks of $100 bills straight down the throats, ears, and other orifices of presidential and congressional candidates, is expected to fundamentally alter the ways American politicians have large quantities of money shoved right into their bodies.
In football music news this week, the 1985 Chicago Bears reunite to record their first new material since the Super Bowl Shuffle. The group says the new material will be darker and more introspective than its Shuffle-era work.
And in this week's op-ed pages, a man asks why, if God exists, doesn't he throw us like a really sweet party? In other news, an increasing number of men feel pressure to accept realistic standards of female beauty. FedEx confirms that more than 600,000 people try to mail themselves each year. And a recovering alcoholic doesn't need friends to have a good time.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah, to fear and declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Phoenix with an S, PhoenixPhoenix.com. And we have Gerald Celente on. Think for yourself, Gerald Celente. You know, he developed the global nomic methodology to identify, track, forecast, and manage trends. He's a political atheist, unencumbered by political dogma, rigid ideology, or conventional wisdom. Celente's motto, think for yourself, observes and analyzes the current events, forming future trends for what they are, not for what he wants them to be. And while Celente holds a U.S. passport, he considers himself a citizen of the world. And he's, got some, it's 2020, and we got some things to talk about. Good morning, Gerald.
Good morning, Ernest.
Okay, now, there's, Donna told me, when I sat down, she goes, yeah, he's concerned about Iran, man. He wants to talk about Iran. So tell me all about Iran. What's up?
We've been warning about this in the Trends Journal now for 3 years, that the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel were targeting Iran. And Trump, in beginning with his, matter of fact, I sent you a link from one of our Trends in the News broadcasts from a number of years ago, warning about this. That when Trump was running for president, he started attacking Iran back in 2016, blaming Iran for being the worst terrorist group in the world, on and on and on. And this is not true at all. The greatest terrorist group in the world is, what is the United States doing in Iraq?
Yeah.